BBC Radio Cumbria Sport.
Carlisle United prepare to host Southampton, today's visitors in League One. The Saints in 6th position, just in the playoff places, just a point ahead of Carlisle United with identical goal difference. United will leapfrog them and up into those playoff positions with a victory this afternoon. And what a victory it would be, what it would mean to the fans and the club as a whole as well, if they could do something to take just a little small step towards exercising that memory of the defeat at Wembley, the home of football, in United's showpiece final last season in the Johnston's Paint Trophy. What a day it could be for Carlisle if they could just take a step towards that. In terms of the two lineups, very strong for Carlisle United, and a surprise in the back line. If you're just joining us on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport, Peter Murphy stays in. Many people were predicting that it would be Berrett and Michalik in the centre of defence. Well, it is. Murphy replaces the man at left back, Tom Cruise, who drops down to defence. The young lad on loan from Arsenal, not quite doing enough to secure his starting berth in the starting lineup this afternoon against the club who Greg Abbott describes as the biggest in League One. So, from 1 to 11 for United, if you like, before the classic days of the squad numbers, it's the 1 to 11, the lineup. Adam Collin in goal, Frank Simek is right back, left back then Peter Murphy today, Lubo Michalik and James Chester in the centre of defence. Two more holding roles for Tom Taiwo and James Berrett. They'll sit in between midfield and defence, just supporting the back line against Southampton as they look to push forward. And then three forward players in Mike Grella, Ben Marshall and Francois Zoko, no doubt interchanging behind the target man up front, Gary Medine. On the bench for the Cumbrians, Kevin Hurst, Matty Robson, Craig Curran, Andy Cook, Tony Craig, Tom Cruise and young Stephen Swinglehurst getting another taste of life in the first team squad. Southampton line up like this. It's a 4-5-1 on the face of it, but expect it to be a very similar formation to Carlisle United. In goal for them, the vastly experienced Kelvin Davis. The back four of Fraser Richardson, again experience in there with Radi Jaidi, the Tunisian international who's had Premier League experience with various clubs including Bolton and Birmingham City. Alongside him, the Portuguese Jose Fonte in the centre, with Dan Harding, the fullback, can play left or right. A very, very tidy fullback who will look to push on. On the right-hand side of the midfield five, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, the son of a very famous Chamberlain who had a great career with Stoke. That's Mark Chamberlain, a YTS product, just 17 years of age, this young lad. But he's already picked up 4 goals in his 9 appearances this year, and he's keeping out Jason Puncheon, which is no small feat in itself. On the left, Adam Lallana. Carlisle fans will know all about him after his role in their defeat at Wembley. Richard Chaplow, in on loan from Preston, is in the centre of midfield alongside Dean Hammond and Morgan Schneidling. You can expect Hammond and Chaplow to sit just that little bit deeper for the Saints, and then Schneidling, Chamberlain and Lallana will push up onto the man who starts up front and needs no real introduction, Ricky Lambert. We know all about him. On the bench for the Saints this afternoon, Bartosz Bilakovsky, Ryan Dixon, Lee Barnard, bit of a surprise omission from the starting 11. He's on the bench along with Puncheon, Gilly De Prado, Dan Seaborn and David Connolly, who is a real sniffer extraordinaire, another man who could come on and affect the game if the Saints were struggling for a goal. Those are the two lineups then, as 6th place Southampton are the visitors for 8th in League One, Carlisle United on a great run of form. United, but you really do feel that this will be the test of how good they are at this current moment in the season. Alongside me, James Phillips, former United star Jeff Thorpe. And Jeff, that's basically the headline going into this game as the two teams emerge out into the sunshine here at Brunton Park. How far have Carlisle United come, A, since Wembley, but B, this season on this run of form?
Well, certainly that game at Wembley was a bit of a blip in terms of the performance on the day. It wasn't great, but we know last year they suffered from inconsistency. This year they've been a lot better, haven't they? And the results show that, and they've been pretty consistent from the start of the season. Had some great wins, but yeah, we've still seen them, you know, a few bad habits creep in from time to time, but most clubs, apart from the very top ones, that happens to them, and they're inconsistent from one half to the next, never mind from one game to the next. So they should certainly be going into this game with a lot of confidence after scoring plenty of goals and 3 victories on the bounce. So I'm looking forward to seeing them really go at Southampton, make it uncomfortable for them, get the ball in and around the box, get it to Zoko, get it to Grella, and really put pressure on that Southampton defence.
Your live action then on the FM frequencies of BBC Radio Cumbria Sport. Carlisle United versus Southampton in League One. Elsewhere this afternoon, if you want to follow us on AM and online, The commentary today sees top of the table AFC Wimbledon, the visitors for Barrow in Blue Square Premier. In Blue Square North, Workington Reds are at Corby Town. There's Evo Stick Premier action as Kendal go to Hucknall, and then more from the Rugby Union. Kendal well underway against Morley, and things just starting to come better. More scores as well throughout the course of the afternoon. All of your Cumbria sport covered on your number one station for sport, BBC Radio Cumbria. Here though on FM and on the Carlisle United website. Welcome one and all. It's Carlisle United versus Southampton, and it's live at the home of the Cumbrians, Brunton Park. The sun is stretching and the shadows out across the pitch in front of us. It's a glorious afternoon, a little bit crisp but not too cold, and we're not too far off Carlisle underway against Southampton.
Oh, what a lovely afternoon for a game of footy, isn't it? And earlier this morning I was out on the bike and caught in hail showers and everything, and I was thinking, crikey, this afternoon might be a bit dodgy for those players out there. But no, it's fantastic now. The sun's coming out and lovely, no wind. Pitch looks pretty much perfect. I mean, it's really holding up well at the moment. So much rain obviously last week, but you know, they've done an excellent job on it, and a perfect surface for two teams that like to pass the ball to get an opportunity to go out there and put on a good display.
Carlisle United versus Southampton. The Cumbrians are kicking off, going from left to right in front of myself and James and Jeff Thorpe. I am James Phillips, of course, and they're going towards the Warwick Road end, which is great to see after the game against Crewe, where everyone was in this main stand in front of us. The Warwick and the Story home stand on the far side, very much populated.
Yeah, it is. Nice to see a big, large following from Southampton. Obviously a heck of a distance, James, isn't it? And that's a real credit to the club. And another thing I noticed when you look at the Southampton, no sponsors on the shirts. Something to do with them being in administration and coming out, or I don't know, something along those lines. But unusual, you don't see a team with sponsors on.
Wolves 0, Bolton 1, latest score coming in. Richard Stearman own goal in the Premier League. Keep you updated on those throughout the course of the afternoon on BBC Radio Cumbria and the scores in League One. The referee in front of us, Carl Evans, is about to get us underway. Last time he was here, United lost 2-1 at home to Huddersfield. Let's hope no repeat of that today. And straight away from the centre, United drive forwards with Mishlik out of defence up on the left hand side. Medine can't gather, and it's an early throw into Southampton in the right back position. Two fairly similar lineups today, Jeff Thorpe. Pretty much, if you look at them, they could both read as 4-5-1s or 4-2-3-1s, and it'll be interesting to see who wins out in that tight midfield battle. Well,
that will dictate, you know, the lineup for each team, I suppose. It depends who gets on top early in the game, because the other team will have to try and counter that, and they might have to change things. Both teams will obviously be wanting to utilise their forward plays they've got and try to get a good foothold in the game, which usually means trying to win that midfield battle and getting decent possession and getting it to the players who can be dangerous. So Carlisle will be looking. They'll probably look for flick-ons from Medine and try and get Zoko on it, and they'll have Grella pulling off and trying to find the space to get it into his feet. So you know, the Carlisle midfield are going to be really important today in terms of winning that battle, but then giving good quality ball to the players who can do the damage.
James Barrett was just down with a bit of a knock on the head early in the game there. We're only in the second minute. The referee just taking the ball out of the goalkeeper's hands, Adam Collin dropping it and letting him pick it back up again. But that is the rules. He stopped the game because of an injury, and then he started it with a bounce up, which Adam Collin picked up. Nothing wrong with that, as Southampton have to push back into their own penalty area, and now clear under pressure from Francois Zoko. It clicked his heel on the way through there. Jose Fonte, I think it was, getting back with the clearance, and it's a throw into the Saints in their right back position.
Yeah, not much really going on at the moment. Carlisle trying to pressure Fonte then, but he did well to get the ball clear. But I've got to say, James, the ref doesn't look the fittest of individuals, should I say.
You're saying he's every inch a referee, and that's quite a few inches.
Rotund. Is that what you call him? Bit porky?
Whatever you want to call him, Phil, for you. Just get off that fence, porky.
But listen, as long as he keeps up with play, I'm not really interested and has a good game. But yeah, he doesn't look a fine specimen, to be seen.
Jeff Thorpe said all of this, by the way, those of you listening from the Football League and the FA. Southampton let's go forwards down the right hand side here. Nigel Adkins, of course, though, the manager for the Saints today, his former side Scunthorpe, currently a goal down at home to Cardiff. Jay Bothroyd is having some season in the Championship with the latest goal for Cardiff. You always look and you expect it to be Craig Bellamy, but he's not been too much in amongst the goals as ever with Cardiff. It's Bothroyd and the man from Sunderland.
No, he scored a couple on his debut, didn't he, Bellamy?
Not too much since, but he's certainly laid on a few. Carlisle have it with Grella on the left-hand side. Pushed back towards midfield, driven through the middle, turned away by Jaidi. He might just have allowed that to run through now. He's put his fullback in a bit of pressure, but Richardson clears well. Up to halfway, and United head it forwards, and it's another throw-in to Southampton. The fill-in left-back for the day. Do we call him that? I mean, he is a centre-half by trade, but Left back doesn't seem like too much of a tall order for him.
No, not at all. He's a defensive-minded player, so yeah, he'll be able to slot in there, and obviously left-footed. So in terms of his experience and positional play, shouldn't be a problem for him. But if the lad out there, Chamberlain's got a bit of pace, now that might cause him some trouble.
James Barrett just caught there, but the referee's allowed the advantage because Carlisle had the ball out to the right-hand side. Taiwo on it, has Simic in an advance role, looks over to the left, and Gorella. Not a great ball there from Taiwo, perhaps looking into the sunshine. Now Peter Murphy's jumped under the flight of the ball, and Southampton will look to come forwards with that man Chamberlain. We're told he comes here with a lot of pace, running hard at Chester there. Getting back and tackling though is Mike Grella, keeps the ball in play, turns himself out of trouble, then a little double drag back in the left back position and clears up to halfway, and Gary Medine. Really good stuff there from Mike Grella, who's made a real impression on loan from Leeds United. This is essentially his last game of that loan, but Carlisle United doing all they can to extend that, and that was fabulous play under pressure at the back. Well,
it was excellent play first and foremost. He worked so hard to get back and snuff out that danger after Peter Murphy's mistake. He completely misjudged the bounce of the ball and went over his head, and he did terrifically well, Grella.
The sort of thing we've not been seeing from Peter Murphy in recent weeks. He's been right on the money in terms of getting things right in there, as Tom Taiwo does exactly that. A really good tackle. Peter Murphy comes over and covered, and he's been caught there by Chaplow going through down the left hand side. A terrible mistake by Murphy. Chaplow crosses into the middle and Chamberlain smashes it over the bar. And already in the opening stages, 2 ricks from Peter Murphy. Jumped under a header there and then surrendered possession, trying to take his man on when he was the last man on this near side in front of us. Well, at the moment he's gone into the centre of defence, and they've moved James Chester over into the left back role. Carlisle United, an early reorganisation, and I wonder if that's because of those 2 moments for Peter Murphy.
Well, it's strange. I wouldn't have thought so really, because I mean, why they've made that change I'm not sure, but it just does seem a little bit strange as to why they've done that
early in this game. But that was a real rick by Murphy there, no doubt about it. Now Grella coming forwards down the left hand side here for Carlisle United, under pressure from 2 men, Richardson and the tracking midfielder as well, Chamberlain, and United have a throw in.
It probably appears that they started like that, and Murphy, who took up a position on that far side originally, was probably just due to where his man had gone and Lambert had pushed over there. Murphy's actually playing centre half by the looks of it, you're right, with Chester at left back.
Chester has moved out there, and Murphy looks like he's over in the left back position at the moment, but that is because Chester's pushed forward. So right-footed centre half Chester playing in an advanced wing back role, if you will, and Peter Murphy in the centre alongside Lubo Michalik. Yeah, they're in that back line somewhere anyway.
Yeah,
what we can tell you is Frank Simek is right back.
Yeah,
we're certain.
At least for the moment.
Yeah, for now anyway, as Carlo looks to come forwards again down the Southampton right, cleared away, and it's a throw-in to United just inside the Southampton half.
But a shaky start for Murph, whatever. I mean, there was 2 really, really basic errors that he knows far better to try and do that, and it was a big let-off, especially the second one.
Yeah, it certainly was. Cut back and the shot over the bar. Lovely turn by Chester in that unorthodox left-back position for him coming forwards. Gets it up to Grella, edge of the area. Francois Zoko now gets his first touches of the afternoon. 6th minute here, going into the 7th. Zoko has his pocket pick, still 0-0, but Southampton have had the best chance due to that mistake by Murphy. They're coming forwards again now, the Saints, pushing on with fullback on this near side, Harding, having a look at the options around him, and he puts it down the line. It asks a lot of Lallana, and it's a big tackle in there from Lubo Michalik. Gets over man and ball, and it's a throw into the Saints in the left back position. Taken quickly though down the line. An opportunity for Hammond, the captain, to send it into the penalty area. United have to be careful. I think maybe Murphy got the call there to say that there was no one behind him, and he just ducked under the ball, and it goes behind for a goal kick to Carlisle.
I tell you, it was clever play by Chester. They were looking for Lambert there, no question about it, who set off to, on a bit of a run there, tried to pull away from his marker so that he could get a good run to head that ball in that was floated over. But James Chester just kind of stood across him, and he was going nowhere. He ran straight into Chester, and Lambert appealed for something, but it was just really good play by James Chester.
He was only the man who had that volley over that we've been talking about. He was only about 10 yards out, wasn't he? But he was on his weaker left foot. It was a bit of a swipe at it. Not an easy one. You couldn't say it was a sort of a nailed-on chance for Southampton, but it is the only chance of the game so far. United just a few uneasy moments, but still looking like the more creative force so far in the game, although only 8 minutes in, 0-0 here on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport. Hammond's picked up the ball in too much space, gets it over to the wing in too much space. Cross comes into the middle, men in the middle, not in much space. Perhaps that's where all the Carlisle markers were in the penalty area, looking to Marshall Lambert, and in the end it's straight out for a throw-in on this near side.
Well, Carlisle have got to be brighter there. That ball was played right into the midfield. The Carlisle players were caught napping. Nobody pushed on, and then it was a simple ball played out to the right wing to Chamberlain, who then floated across in under no pressure at all. So that's too easy.
Ball up looking for Lambert there. He sort of thighs it into the penalty area. but it's cleared by Carlisle. Francois Oko picks it up, uses Medine. He can move it out to the right-hand side now. He was trying to on his left foot in search of Marshall there. Tried the early ball. He looked up well, but it came off his left foot horribly and went straight through to goalkeeper Davis to clear. Now they're bombing forwards down the right-hand side, Southampton, with Richardson. Goes over to the wing and Chamberlain looks in field to no one in particular. Lambert, good first touch, tries to slide it around the corner, but it's cut out by Carlisle and cleared up to halfway. Forwards come the Saints again though. Plenty of black shirts up there for Southampton every time they look to come forwards. No doubt 3 men out of midfield are pushing on to Ricky Lambert. It's not a 4-5-1 at all for Southampton, certainly as they come forwards. On the ball now Schneidling, who likes to orchestrate in midfield, gets it inside and moved back into defence now by Southampton, and Carlisle have repelled them well all the way back through now to Kelvin Davis, the goalkeeper. He moves it back up into defence, and Jaidi, the Tunisia international, has to send it left-footed down the line in search of Lallana. Has his pocket picked by a Carlisle man, and they'll look to come forwards again now down the left. Lallana on the ball, having a bit of run at Frank Simek here. Almost gave the ball to Carlisle's right-backing captain. Just shaping it to cross on his left foot, finally gets that cross in, and Michalik heads behind under pressure from Lambert, taking no chances, and that's the sort of defending Carlisle need, I suspect, Jeff.
Well, yeah, you can't muck about with it there. There was only one thing he could have done, and he did it well, but you've got to be solid. You've got to play the percentage game a lot of the time. Don't take risks. Peter Murphy took a risk early on and got caught.
Had he tried to head that for the throw in, it might not have had the legs. Lallana might have picked it up again and crossed it straight back in.
Just got to make sure you defend right from the corner, pick your men up.
Here comes the corner for Southampton, near post ball, stabbed towards goal by one of their players. Schneidling is demanding that it's his. No, it's actually Jose Fonte, but it's not. It certainly isn't. It's behind, and it's a goal kick to Carlisle United. 10th minute, still 0-0 here, Carlisle versus the Saints. Likewise in the games concerning Barrow, Workington and Kendal this afternoon. Not showing the Rugby Union. We'll keep you up to date on all of those scores on BBC Radio Cumbria AM and online. Likewise the Premier League and the League One scores.
Yeah, coming into towards the end of the 10th minute, James, and apart from that Chaplow effort over the bar, then there hasn't been much in the game really. It's Southampton who are bossing it a little bit, getting more possession, pushing forward more, and United need to try to get a foothold in the game, try to get it out wide to Marshall and into Zoko's feet.
Ball over the top here for Carlisle. Kelvin Davis has to come out of his goal under a bit of pressure there and clear. Just about got it away though, Southampton. Now Michalik will send it forward. There's a head injury on one of the Southampton players, and I can quickly tell you, we were talking about the two strikers up front for Cardiff. Of course, Bothroyd with the first. The other one who always seems to score is Michael Chopra, who I said the man that they got in from Sunderland, and he has indeed scored. Nigel Adkins' former side, Scunthorpe, now 2-0 down at home to Cardiff. It's probably the last time I'll mention that game, but it's just funny that we'd mention them both, Thorpe. Have you been playing with the crayons with your kids today, by the way, Thorpe?
I have. I've got paint on me.
You've got paint on your face.
That's right. My wife actually told me when I did it, and I thought I'll wipe that off later.
I'll get that off before I go to the match.
Oh, it doesn't bother me.
Thorpe before forgetting.
Everyone with kids will know. No doubt you walk out the door at times. You have various paint or crayons or other things sometimes hanging off you.
11 on the clock. The referee's going to give a bounce up here, which I don't think is too popular. Carlisle United feel that they had the ball. Southampton are demanding that they should have it, so presumably if both sides want it, he just should allow a competitive bounce up, Thorpe, and he has, and Carlisle have won it through Michalik onto Chester, over to the left-hand side, and Grella, who, of the three men playing behind Medine, he's more out on the left-hand side. He's more the man who's replaced Matthew Robson today. Yeah,
I see he's patrolling up and down that left flank. That's where he got back to help his defenders out before with a good run back. But he'll drift in and he'll look to pick up the ball in space and drive into space. It won't matter where it is, he'll look to exploit it.
Michalik drives the ball forwards over the top for Carlisle, headed away by Harding for Southampton. The Saints left back, Lambert trying to get onto it, good chest control, under pressure from three Carlisle men, still he wins out with it. He is a super player. Can only dream of splashing out over £1 million on a footballer at this level if you're someone of the size of Southampton. Incredible amount of money really to spend on a player.
Well, it is, yeah, considering they then went into administration and had all sorts of problems. You're kind of thinking, well, should they be allowed to do that, when no doubt a lot of creditors will have been paid next to nothing for the club not being run particularly well. But all that's a different matter. He's a cracking player and he's certainly won Carlisle need to marshal well this afternoon.
He's a pleasure to watch, isn't he? I mean, he's a real footballer. He's a proper line leading striker. He's just not such a pleasure when he's scoring the goals and setting them up against your side. So I wonder if the Carlisle fans will be able to appreciate the subtleties of his performance today. James Chester just battling to win Carlisle a throw-in, and does in that, I have to say with him, it is an unorthodox role. I wonder if it's his just a little bit of pace that Chester has. That's
I've got to say it's about the only thing you can think of in playing a right-footed player at left back when you've got a left-footed player in the centre half position who could you'd have thought dropped into that position nicely. So
Tom Taiwo can't get onto the ball, and Southampton are moving it around quite sharply in here. A lovely little back heel. Ben Marshall should be able to slow down his man Harding. Harding's put it past him. Has he got the pace on? Marshall gets the cross in. Marshall tracked back well there. Not many players beat Ben Marshall for pace, but I was very surprised to read when I was reading up on Dan Harding, who I do rate as a fullback, that he was released by Ipswich and flogged by Leeds to the Tractor Boys, and that he's never really settled at any clubs, because at Southampton he looks a class apart at times, and he really tested Marshall there. Now the corner for the Saints. United have to defend this. It's going towards the penalty spot. Zoko heads it to the back post and cleared away. Chaplow sends it back out to the left hand side. Instant control from Lallana. Gets it. No, he doesn't. He feints to cross, then doesn't. Now he goes up towards the back post. United under pressure here, but they've just about got it cleared, and Murphy sends it out to the danger area now. Marshall looks to get it under control, and does so twice. Grella looks to try and turn it away from Chaplow in there. Charged down by Tom Taiwo. Might just break on the far side, but doesn't. Headed forwards again by Southampton. Flicked on towards goal, and Michalik should be able to clear this. Gets it back into Adam Collin, who smashes it up into the Southampton half. But they move the ball quickly, Southampton. No messing about. Now Madine's flicked it on in search of Zoko, but his touch wasn't good enough. Over to Marshall on the right hand side. Good passing there though by Carlisle. Jaidi though with a big uncompromising tackle moves the ball forwards. Oh, and it's turned into a through ball here. Carlisle have been opened up. Lambert is stopped in the end by a combination of Chester and Murphy. The clearance there under pressure from Jaidi almost sets up the most dangerous man on the park there. Sloppy, but in the end good defending from Carlisle.
Oh, incredibly sloppy. I mean, they all just stood and watched, and I just no idea what they were doing then. It just took Chester to get back, to just manage to put Lambert off before he could line up a shot.
Here comes the corner for Southampton. They're third already in this match. Cleared away up towards the edge of the area and smashed towards goal. And up and over the bar. No danger from Morgan Schneidling. That man scored again for Tottenham. Gareth Bale, who are leading Blackburn by 1-0 in the Premier League. World's best left-sided player at the moment.
That's terrific, isn't he? What a player. He really is a joy to watch, but he'll find things, I know last week I think he found it difficult. Bolton doubled up on him, and that's what will happen. You've got to try and neutralise teams' best threats, and teams will get wise to that, but they'll probably still won't stop him all the time. But
well, you'd have thought Stoke would be doing that, wouldn't you, with a manager like Tony Pulis, but sometimes you just can't stop quality of that level, but no doubt about it, Bolton did.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a big let-off before. I mean, Lambert just almost strolled through, didn't he, onto it?
He thought he was finishing, didn't he?
Yeah.
I really think he did. Grella's tried a back heel there that's caught Carlisle out there.
I've got to say, it's a really slow start by Carlisle. They're struggling to get any kind of the ball at all, and when they do get it, passes are going astray. And Southampton are a team who, you give them space on the ball, they'll knock it about. And
they've got so many men comfortable
but they're
on the ball.
They're all comfortable on it, James.
Grella's played it inside here, looking for the run of Zoko. A little burst of pace from the Ivory. Now moves it over to Marshall on the right-hand side. United here in really their first foray forwards. Marshall's put it inside one man, gets it over to Simek on the right-hand side now. One touch to control, then cross into the middle. Still breaks in there, charged down as Berity looked to volley on goal, and Southampton hack it absolutely anywhere. Back in their defending, they've looked to get it up towards halfway now, and Lambert, Carlisle have pushed him into a corner, and Michalik says to him hello and welcome to Brinton Park with a big thumping tackle that clears man and ball out for a throw into Southampton.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure by Carlisle there, and that man Simek again, we've spoken about him before, how he loves to get forward and overlap Marshall there, who did the right thing, cut in field so the space was outside of him, and eventually got it to him, and they just couldn't get a body in the box.
I think Carlisle, it's just going to be a throw in there. It was just about to be the most bizarre corner you'll ever see conceded, but it went out to play just before it reached the byline there, and it's a throw into Carlisle by the Southampton corner flag up to their right hand side here. Goodwin Ante is given Dagenham and Redbridge the lead by 1-0 at Yeovil. Here 0-0 at Brenton Park. Carlisle versus Southampton into the 17th now, but Marshall couldn't gather the throw in there from Simek, and it'll be cleared away. Just going down there and holding his face was Ricky Lambert. Good header from Chaplow over to the right hand side here. Will Chamberlain catch it? He does. He puts it down the line first time to Chaplow, who's carried on his run down the right hand side, squaring the penalty area, looking for Lambert. Moves it out to the edge now. Could be a shot on here for Hammond. Moved over instead to Lallana. Opens up, palmed away and volleyed forwards and out to the penalty area in there by Carlisle. A bit frantic for the time there. They really did open Carlisle up there, and Carlisle win a throw-in on halfway. Gary Medine caught by Radi Jaidi. Not looking too happy actually there, really holding his ankle. Greg Abbott not happy with his back line there. Simek and him having a heated conversation. I don't know really what happened there. I think he's probably criticising the way Simek made it too easy for Lallana to get around him and get that shot in, but by hook or by crook, Southampton open United up.
Well, Carlisle was struggling right from giving the ball away and shifting out wide to Chamberlain. 2 or 3 quick passes there, and Carlisle were cut open, and that was a real good chance for Lallana. And I feared the worst when he cut inside on his right foot. I thought he's just going to bend this round the keeper, but he just couldn't get enough on it.
No, he certainly couldn't. Now Carlisle could come forwards down the left here with Zoko, who's tried a rather ambitious shot from a tight angle. I think he probably was aware that Gary Medine was still carrying a knock and hadn't driven really into the middle with any purpose, and there was no one on there but the shot, and he had a go, didn't really catch it, and I'm sure the way he would have liked to, and it was just straight through to Kelvin Davis. But first chance of the match for United, and at least they're on the board in that respect. Well,
yeah, it was a real tame effort by Zoko, but he got a little bit of space in that side of the area, and United, as you say, James, their first attempt on goal.
Yep. Now Southampton once again coming forward. Lallana, a real quality player on the ball, right-footed, always plays out on the left-hand side and looks to cut in. He said that he, in the build-up to this game, that he really hopes to emulate the feats of that man we were just talking about there, Gareth Bale, and also Theo Walcott, 2 youngsters who progressed from the youth team below him, a year younger than him. As Southampton look to push forwards again here, that man Lallana looking to get away just about. United tackle it back with Taiwo. Up to Zoko on the halfway line, just short crumples under minimal pressure there. And
he's a lucky man, isn't he, James? Do you think? Lucky man to get that?
Yeah, he turned into the tackle, didn't he?
Yeah, he knew he was in trouble. Didn't have an awful lot of space to do much with it. As soon as he took
the
that
tackle
in
and
his chest,
crumpled.
Yeah, and the ref helped him out a bit, really.
Driven forwards by Michalik over to the left-hand side, looking for Grella, didn't get there. In midfield, Barrett brings it down under pressure from Chaplow, who's got a lot of energy for, really didn't expect him to be the sort of player he is. I've seen him play a very holding role for the likes of West Brom and Preston. Ball forwards there, but at the moment he's playing as one of the more sprightly midfielders, and it's almost like the man holding is Schneidling, with Chaplow and Hammond pushing on for Southampton out of the midfield, which at times gives them 5 forwards on the edge of the Carlisle penalty area, which is maybe what's catching United out. That's another ball forwards that's just not quite good enough. Once again, Carlisle surrendered possession, played back into the inside left channel as Southampton look to come forwards, but it's straight back through and allowed out for a throw, in which United will take. Kendal, you are a 1-0 down at Hucknall in Evo Stick Premier. Tough one for them, that. Just above them in the table, Hucknall. A big side at that level of football and behind, but you certainly wouldn't rule against Kendal coming back in that one. The way their up and down season's going. Shot on from Chamberlain here from range. Well, there's no wonder he's got 4 goals if he's having a crack from there. It must have been 40 yards out minimum, and it didn't dip wide, didn't loop or anything. It fizzed wide. But not a bad strike from him, but never really going to trouble Adam Collin.
Yeah, very ambitious from there, and it wasn't an awful strike, but as soon as it left his foot, it was never really going to trouble Collin. So, if they're doing that all afternoon, Carlisle won't be too displeased with it, because it's very rare shots going to go in from about 35-40 yards, but
just seem to be winning every first ball in the air at the moment, Southampton, and second balls when they come down to the floor. But there could be a break on here now, looking to get through. Gary Medine holds his man off, slides in, Marshall down the right, shot into the back of the net, smash and grab Carlisle United. It's been all Southampton in the first 20 minutes, but a tremendous break up to Medine, out-muscled his marker, played in Marshall for the first time shot. And it's Carlisle United 1, Southampton 0 in the 21st minute.
Well, what a great strike there by Marshall. He had the space to do it. Good play by Medine, who chased it. You're right, he out-muscled his defender a bit. And that allowed him just that little bit of time to lay it off. Marshall was running in. It was probably just inside the area there. The keeper narrowed the angle, and there was probably only one place he could have put it. But lovely side foot finish there. Plenty of pace on it, and it was past the keeper pretty quickly and right in that corner. Terrific finish, and United take against the run of play, really, take a 1-0 lead.
Everything about that goal was right, wasn't it? Medine got into the right position, got in between the 2 centre-halves. They kind of left him to each other. Fonte really didn't have the strength. He just bounced him off, weighed up his options. Jaidi came towards Medine, and he just slid it in for Marshall, who carried on his run as well. Really good stuff from Carlisle, and Medine's won another header out to that man, the goal scorer, Marshall, on the right-hand side. United looking to capitalise. They've got Southampton on the ropes. Cross comes in here from Marshall, going for it at the near post is Medine, but he just runs into Kelvin Davis, who's then thrown himself to ground there. What's the referee saying here? That was silly there from Kelvin Davis, and Medine will be called over here, but
Gary Medine pushed him with
he did, but
hands.
Kelvin Davis stood up and ran into him, and he pushed him as they went past. I don't think there was much in that. He'll only get a talking
really from both sides, but there's just no
Kelvin
need
Davis
for Gary
ran
Medine
into
to
him,
do that.
Medine sort of shrugged out, and Davis threw himself to the ground there, and if it were as serious as all that, the referee would be booking or even red carding Medine. So it's really embarrassing from Kelvin Davis, although you're quite right, Medine should know better, Jeff. Just a bit embarrassing there from Davis, though. I mean, he's the experienced lad out there, nearly 35 years of age, hundreds of games in the Football League. Anyway, that's my opinion. Strong on that one, Jeff, I'm having it. Out to the left-hand side as Southampton look to come forwards. A little bit shaken by that now, but they'll still play their passing game. Taiwo tries to get control back for Carlisle and can't. Up to that left-hand side now. Schneidling's pushed out to this near side. Gets the cross in towards the back post. Chester has to come over and get something on it. Likewise, Taiwo up to the middle of the Carlisle half, but brought down delightfully in there by Southampton's full-back in an advanced position, Richardson. Good tackle there by Chester for Carlisle, and it's a throw-in for the Saints. But back up towards halfway, and Fonte has to turn back in on himself and comes in field to Jaidi. Goes back over to that touchline though, and Fonte all in the Southampton half though. No real danger for Carlisle. It's all about which ball he picks out. Finds somehow Schneidling in space again. Not too sure who are picking up the men in that Carlisle midfield at the moment, and they're away down the right hand side here. This is really good running, but Chester gets in the way, and the referee feels that is a foul. Jeff Thorpe got in the way of his man, seemed to get into possession of the ball. The referee felt, the linesman over there felt it was obstruction.
No, I think it's very harsh there on James Chester, and I thought the Southampton lad, he was trying to knock it past him obviously and get to the byline to get a crossing, but Chester just turned and did his job in defending, and he didn't do anything wrong. The Southampton player ran into him, and that's it. The linesman flagged for it, but disappointing as a fullback to be pulled up for that.
Free kick, edge of the area then. Here it comes in towards the near post. Lambert gets in there, away from Michalik. We've all been talking in the week about he's the man to pick him up, but in truth, he got away from Michalik there. Stooping header up and over the bar. Another good chance for Southampton, but still United lead by that 1-0-0. A score coming in from League One. Hartlepool 1, Brighton 0. The latest score on BBC Radio Cumbria. Austin with the goal for Hartlepool. Also Oldham 1, Huddersfield 0. Flashing up for us as well here on BBC Radio Cumbria. Mark Bridge-Wilkinson has scored as well for Darlington. Last game on loan, of course, before they have to make a decision on whether he'll stay there or come back to Carlisle United. He's done very well there. Mark Cooper, the Darlington manager in the week, if you hadn't heard this already, saying that he's prepared to lock him in the changing room to keep him with the Saints. With Darlington rather. The Saints at the moment are trying to come forward. That's lovely footwork by Marshall. Couldn't quite get onto it, Simek, but played in again now for Zoko down the right hand side. United have men forwards. Wanting it in there is Tom Taiwo. He's driving on around his man. He's just lost his balance, and it allows Fonte to clear. But it's the throw into Carlisle on the edge of the Southampton penalty area. Good play there from Taiwo. He commanded the ball from Zoko, got it. Don't know whether he made that demand in French or English, but Zoko understood. And it was a good break for Carlisle, who've gained a lot of territory in that. Simek now takes the throw in to Zoko, breaks in the area to Marshall, rather fortuitously, gets the shot in on goal. Routine though for Kelvin Davis to fall upon. But it is another chance on goal for Carlisle, who's starting to get more and more in this game and lead by that 0-0 4 minutes ago from Ben Marshall.
Yeah, they're not really getting many, an awful lot of possession, but when they do get it, they break quickly and they're looking to finish with a shot, and Marshall's had a couple now, obviously one of them the goal, and so it's still, the vast majority of the players with Southampton who are knocking it about and trying to control the pace of the game and get into, Carlisle's half. And then it's United just breaking every now and then, and when they do break, they've looked dangerous. So, Southampton could be one of those games where they have loads of possession but struggle to do anything with.
Chamberlain looking to spin away from Chester there. That's going to be a key battleground this afternoon, isn't it? The man, just 17 years of age, keeping out a wonderful player in Jason Punchin, the man who they signed last season but couldn't play against Carlisle in the Johnson's Paint Trophy because he was cup tied. A lovely player though, Punchin. And this young lad, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, 17 years of age, and he's very fast and tricky, and I wonder if that's why Chester has gone out onto that flank, just to try and steer him down the touchline and keep him out of trouble. Ben Marshall almost took the ball there away from Harding and got Carlisle in again, but the Southampton left-back's bombing forwards now. Moves the ball up to Schneidling, edge of the area, quick 1-2, and it's over to the right-hand side now. They've got bodies forwards here. Richardson looking to get it in now, maybe on his left foot. Here comes the ball to the back post, too much on it. Goal kick to Carlisle United, and United just starting to make the Saints snatch at chances. And that could only be good news as they look to keep them at arm's length here.
At first I thought that was a really good ball over to the back post for Lallana. He had a 5 or 6 yard space, but it was too far ahead of him and he couldn't get to it. Otherwise it would have been, at least he'd have squared that across the box. But Carlisle doing all right.
Thanks to the Saints fan on Twitter who's been in touch with us to say the Saints don't have a kit sponsor because it's the 125th anniversary. So 125th anniversary, so the kit without a sponsor is a gift to supporters. There you go. Thank you very much for getting in touch and telling us that. One ball into the back post here. Harding gets something on it. It's going to go in, and it has! It's a horrible own goal from Dan Harding. Knew he had to get something on it because Marshall was there again, and it looped horrendously up and over Kelvin Davis and into the back of the net. In the 28th minute, for the second game running, Carlisle United score by virtue of an own goal. It's the Cumbrians 2, the Saints nothing.
Well, the first one was a terrific goal by Marshall, superb strike. I mean, that's so unfortunate for the Southampton player. The ball was coming in the area, he had to try and get something on it, but he hit it straight into the ground. It bounced up and over the keeper from only about 8 yards. The keeper was only, I don't know, 4 yards off his line, but he couldn't do anything about it. So, you know, big slice of luck for Carlisle there, and 2-0 up. I mean, this is a pretty commanding lead, and the Southampton will be thinking we've had the best spell of the game, really. For half an hour we've bossed it and we're 2-0 down.
Harding with the own goal then, and another chance now to come forwards here. Harding does head back to his goalkeeper, and Zoko sniffing around it. You have to say the goal from Marshall was in almost the only place Davis couldn't get it, and the touch there from Harding once again was just about the only place that Davis couldn't get it. It looped over him horribly.
Yeah, it was a real freak goal, wasn't it?
Really was. Now Southampton looking to come forward here, edge of the area. Good tackle on Chamberlain by the United defence. Berrett on the ball, moves it up to Zoko. Has a man moving over to the right hand side here, Taiwo. Turns himself out of trouble but puts Simek into trouble. The ball forwards. Has it stayed in play? No, it hasn't. It's a throw into the Saints in their left back position. Harding the goal scorer for United. 2-0 to the good, the Cumbrians here against Southampton. Who'd have thought this, especially with the way this game started, and we're up to the half-hour mark now. United have to capitalise. They have to be professional and disciplined now. A third goal, though, would probably kill off the Saints, Jeff Thorpe.
Well, it may do, but it's a strange game, isn't it? If it was role reversal, you'd be thinking, how on earth are we 2-0 down at the moment? And Southampton fans will be thinking that, having looked so comfortable. Carlisle not really doing much in attacking terms, but that's the way football can go sometimes. Carlisle have got to make the most of their advantage that they've got and try to get some control over the game now.
Simek has it, moves it up to Marshall on the right wing. He'll look to take that man Harding on. He's already got past him once. Can he get past him again? Drives away down the touchline. Harding takes his legs out. Free kick to Carlisle, and he'll be called in here by the referee, and I think he'll be the first man into the book. The referee seems pretty resolute in the way he's coming over. Asks him to come and welcomes him, I think, into that book. And there is the yellow card for Harding, who knew what he was doing there. I think Marshall rather knew he was going to get away from him. I don't think he actually had the ball under control, in truth, Marshall, but he put it past Harding and invited the tackle, and I think Harding knew he had to make it and took away the legs of United's flyer.
Well, he's had a shocking couple of minutes, Harding, because that was really poor defending. He was nowhere near getting the ball, and rightly so, he was yellow carded.
Ben Marshall, though, he did buy it because the ball went straight out of play. He just made sure he got a touch on it.
There's no need to make the challenge.
No, he could have just pulled out and let him go, but he'd committed to the tackle, and he's into the book now, and he scored an own goal. He's not having a great afternoon, especially after I gave him such a good billing as well a few moments ago. Shows what I know. Berrett takes the free kick for Carlisle towards the back post. There are men in there, headed up by Michalik. Kelvin Davis gathers under the bar and gathers well, and actually has a bit of a hug with Peter Murphy in there, who was just sniffing around in case the Southampton goalkeeper dropped that one. Straight back on the ball though, Harding. Plenty of confidence about him, demanded it from the goalkeeper, got it.
Well, this is a test for Harding.
There are jeers on him.
Well, it's a test for him because he's had a real horrible couple of minutes, and as soon as he gets the ball, the fans are going to be jeering, and again to go again, and we'll see how he reacts to it, because this is a strength of we'll see how good a player he is after a couple of minutes of adversity, whether he crumbles and it affects his game, or whether he's strong enough to deal with it.
Yeah, clearly very happy, aren't they, to have the ball at feet, move it around Southampton. Gets it back again here, more jeers. Back down the line it goes, fairly regular stuff. Back to Jaidi, ball over the top now. Lallana giving chase, Simek now with him. Simek will hopefully try and jockey this out to play. Came off the Southampton man. Well done, Frank Simek. Captain stuff from him. And it's a goal kick to Carlisle United. What a good captain Frank Simek's been as well for Carlisle United, while covering.
I think he's been terrific. Yeah, he's been a terrific player since he came in, and I happen to think he offers a lot more than Richard Keogh did in terms of going forward, and defensively he's really strong. And he plays the game the right way. He's by all accounts a cracking fella and a good ambassador to have as your captain.
You know what, I really did like Richard Keogh. He came into the studio a few times with him the summer before his final season here, and he was a lovely chap, really good player, really inspiring for the crowd at times. But you take Frank Simek every day of the week over him. Southampton coming forwards here. Chaplow having another touch on the ball. Not seen him for a while. Moves it out to the left-hand side. I think that's going to have too much for Harding. That will deal out the crowd in front of us. United have the throw-in and a 2-goal lead here in the 33rd minute.
Well, they've been knocked out of the stride a bit, Southampton, haven't they? They were looking really comfortable, but at 2-0 down, and one of the players is, silly challenges and goes into the book, and suddenly their passes are going astray a little bit, and it's strange how football can affect you, having looking pretty comfortable, even though it was 0-0, keeping Carlisle at arm's length and having the majority of the possession, to suddenly not looking quite so good.
Chaplow with a nice ball over into midfield there, and finds its way to Chamberlain on the right hand side. He'll look to Craswilly. No, he won't. Goes to Richardson on the right hand side. Here comes the cross for Southampton. Danger, it's headed towards goal. Bit of a barge in the back there by Michalik. The man won the header in there. Up and over the bar it went, but Michalik crashed into the back of him. He's just making that point there to the referee, Jeff. He really caught him.
Well, he should do, because again though, what's more concerning is that for the second time in a row, Lambert's had a free header over the bar where he's got in front of Michalik, who was picking him up. And that's why Michalik had to try. He was scrambling across to try to get some kind of a challenge on to Lambert, and he was nowhere near in the end, and he definitely caught him after he'd headed it. So, I mean, that's 2 free headers Lambert's had. You can't give him any more.
He was making that point. Zoko spun his man delightfully. Surely he had his heels clipped there. The referee says not. Carlisle get possession back. It matters not. Simek coming forwards for United. Up towards Medini. Almost rolled Jaidi there. Quite fortunate the Tunisian. Tom Taiwo then seemed to rather catch his man, and then a bit of a dive there from Hammond. What's the referee doing here? He's calling somebody in for Carlisle.
Yeah, Soko. It was a show of dissent, really, and because he didn't get the challenge. And I've got to say, it was quite an animated, shout at the referee. And there you go. The referee's using his hand to signal that he was talking too much to him. And
said too much.
It's dissent. So,
a Gallic show of petulance from the man from the Ivory Coast.
Frustrating, but he's gone in the book for it.
Yeah, he's got to be careful now. One late tackle there as he's trying to win possession back for United. And Francois might be on. Or off, rather. On his way. Latest in the Rugby Union, England 26, Australia 6. Get in!
How about that?
How about that? Hey. Your mate's there anyway. Hang on, Southampton coming forwards here. Fonte was all over Simek, but the referee doing not a bad job actually, the referee, because he just allowed that one to play on and it went out for a goal kick, so didn't have to get involved. But what about that for a scoreline?
It's incredible, isn't it? I mean,
20 points ahead of the Aussies.
Yeah, by all accounts, everybody's been talking about Australia being about the best team in the world, or certainly coming up to being that, and they're the ones to beat. And England are making a real good job of it this afternoon. I wonder how long's left though, because we've been carried away earlier, but that seems such a commanding lead. You can't see that letting slip now.
It's at Twickenham, isn't it? The Wallabies getting a walloping at the moment as Carlisle look to move the ball forwards against Southampton. Sniffing around it again, Marshall. Harding, who's had that up and down game so far, gets the ball clear. Battling for it, Michalik rather with a high foot there. Marshall gets a touch as Southampton look to scrap it away, and somehow Southampton keep possession. This is good football from them. Played through the middle, looking for Chaplow. Cut out Murphy, back in for Chaplow. Edge of the area, good tackling back there from Lubo Michalik. He thinks Carlisle should have the goal kick. He thinks he played it onto Chaplow. He's not going to say too much though, because the referee's already booked one Carlisle player for talking back. It's a corner for Southampton. Yeah,
it looked like they were in trouble for a minute, didn't they? I mean, Peter Murphy made a good interception as the ball was going through, but it only fell to another Southampton player who almost set Chaplow up again.
Lallana will take the corner here for the Saints, going in towards the near post, thinking about punching it. He came out with his fist clenched there, Colin, and then thought, why don't I just catch it? Well, that'd be easier, and did.
Really comfortable for him. He caught it, at about waist height. Well, a little bit higher, but for Southampton, they've got to have somebody at the near post to make a challenge on that.
Now Grella in a bit of space, is offside. Free kick to Southampton over on that far side. Quickly get up to speed on the League One scores. Bournemouth 1, Walsall 0, Brentford 0-0 MK Dons, Bristol Rovers 0, Leyton Orient 2. They're suddenly coming back to form, the Orient. Exeter 2, Notts County 0, Hartlepool 1, Brighton 0, Oldham 1-0 up against Huddersfield. Charlton are winning by 2-0 away at Peterborough. They're really sliding in the division at the moment, Peterborough, out of the playoffs already. Another goal in that one, I'll tell you about it in a moment. Sheffield Wednesday 0-0 with Rochdale as the clearance goes all the way down and through to Adam Collin. Swindon 1, Colchester 0, Tranmere 0-0 with Plymouth. And Yeovil are a goal up. Gary Medine there battling for the ball. The home support clearly feel he should have got the free kick. The referee felt it's the old man's game one, I think, there, and just allows play to go on. Tom Taiwo scoring a possession all the same. It's now Charlton 3-0 up at Peterborough. 4-0 up by all accounts now. It's an amazing scoreline, and still Yeovil 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 1. And Zoko wins possession back for Carlisle. Driving through the middle. Has Marshall to the right. Should have passed it into him there. Took too long. Now he's missed Frank Simek with his pass. Carlisle have actually made, and that's a poor pass from Simek, and Carlisle have really invited pressure onto themselves here. Good ball out there, cut out though by Chester. Southampton almost away. Now United might be, it's a good ball. Grella needs to touch it past this man, has his legs swept away by Fonte, and he'll be the latest man in the book, and 2 of the Southampton back line are in there now, and that can only be good news for Carlisle United.
Well, Grella was a tad fortunate because it was a bad touch, and that's what led Fonte to think I can win this, and he slid in. But Grella, to his credit, was very, very quick to redeem himself and just managed to poke the ball past Fonte as he slid in. And it was always going to be a booking if he didn't get any of the ball, and that's what's happened. But slightly fortunate for Grella.
It was a bad touch, but just like the tackle with Marshall, Jeff, both of them have drawn those fouls really, because I think he realised that he wasn't going to get a meaningful touch onto it, Grella. All that he could do is maybe just touch it away from Fonte and draw the foul, and that's what he did, just like Marshall earlier.
Well, I think he'll be disappointed because he had a real good chance to run at Fonte and skin past him and then be through on goal, but his poor touch obviously meant Fonte slid in, but a chance of a free kick now.
It is. It's to the left of the penalty area, and it's a few yards out. It'd be some free kick to score from here. A number of players over there. Marshall looks like he might fancy it, Grella as well, and Murphy maybe on his left foot. Looks like it's more set up for a shot than a ball into the back post. Marshall comes away. I think Grella's going to have a bit of a drive at this. He does drive it towards goal, straight into the wall. Might come to Zoko just inside the penalty area. The flag goes up. It's an offside against Carlisle's Ivorian. Well, he's wafted his hand at the referee again there, Francois Zoko. He just needs to be a touch careful. He's already on a booking for dissent. Won't want to say anything else, sacre bleu or otherwise.
Yeah, it was a bit of a anticlimax in the end, wasn't it? It was a poor free kick, never got any height on it, never got it round the wall or over it or anything.
Murphy's missed his header there against Lambert, but it goes all the way through. Carlisle are getting the bodies in the right areas.
Well, like I said, this last 10 minutes or so, Southampton have lost a bit of potency. They've looked quite dangerous up till then. They were knocking it about nicely, getting it wide, getting balls into the area, but just seems to have stuttered them a bit.
Barrow 1, AFC Wimbledon 0, the latest score. James Owen with the goals. What a player he's been for the Bluebirds this season. Barrow 1, AFC Wimbledon 0, the league leaders in Blue Square Premier. Well done to them. That match is on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport, AM and online this afternoon, here on FM and the Carlisle United website. Carlisle leading by 2-0 in this crunch match against Southampton. The Blues will go back up into the playoffs if they can win this one, and they're in a good position, but plenty of time left as Harding plays a high looping ball back to Kelvin Davis. Volleys straight to Marshall. Take the shot on Marshall. He hasn't. He's running at the back line. Keeps on going. Running out of options. He should have taken the shot onto his left foot. Chips it back post. Zoko might just get there. Turned away by the Southampton man. Corner Carlisle.
Yeah, nice play, wasn't it? It's a goal kick. It was Zoko who tried to get a foot onto it. But, Marshall was looking for Medine, really, but Medine just ran straight offside and there was no way he could poke that ball to him, so he had to keep hold of it. There's nobody else there, but I think the earlier shot would have been a bit optimistic by him. But
the goalkeeper was out of goal.
Very nearly turned up with Zoko getting a chance at the far post.
Almost did. Murphy heads clear. Carl Reagan's been sent off for Bristol Rovers, already 2-0 down. Serious foul play, the sending off there for Reagan, and already 2-0 down at home to Leyton Orient. What a disastrous day that looks like being for Paul Trollope's men, and they've not been in great form actually since the match against Carlisle United that you enjoyed, of course, Jeff, in the high winds and rain at the Mem.
There was a bit of rain. I don't think there was. Thought it was quite nice.
Oh, I can't remember.
It wasn't bad.
Maybe I'm remembering last season with Tommy.
Yes.
Zoko on the ball now, nice little pirouette away from his man, picks out Marshall, gets it back on the 1-2, Medine's in a bit of space, slides in Grella, just couldn't play in Medine, he stepped offside, but Marshall is there to be played in down the right hand side now. If he gets there ahead of Harding, could get another foul against him, but hasn't. It's actually good defending by the Southampton left back. Michalik with a big tackle there on his man. Zoko picks up the ball, trying to come forward, shrugs off Lambert, but just another Southampton black shirt got in there and got the touch away. Chester going towards the left back position and will clear, gets the call from Adam Collin though and leaves it, and United's goalkeeper bashes it away for a Southampton throw-in on halfway. 42nd minute, and they are in fine form here, Carlisle United. Slow start, but they have emerged.
They're going all right, and Zoko, that man's getting on the ball. We like to see it, but at times he does try to do far too much, and a lot of the time it's not going to come off.
What an excellent tackle that was by Tom Taiwo on his man under pressure there, and Carlisle get it clear. Gary Medine straight at the back post, but it would be a heck of a ball to pick him out, so Marshall says I'll run at Harding instead. You're already on the booking. Massive tackle there again. It's the second big one of the afternoon, this time from Frank Simek on Harding. who hobbles away. He got up quickly there to show he was all right, but you can see he's shaken by that one. A thunderous tackle from Simek and a throw into Carlisle.
What a great challenge by both of them. Good wholehearted football. Both full-backs there challenging each other in a fair challenge, and Carlisle win out.
Simek down the line. Header is won by Gary Medina over Jaidi. That's a collector's item. Now Marshall has it on the right touchline near the corner flag. What can he look to earn? He's got around his man going into the penalty area. Good tackle by Harding. Did very well that time, the Southampton left back. He looks shattered, by the way. He's had some first half. He looks injured as well after that collision with Simek moments earlier. And Carlisle have a corner. If they could get a third here, well, I'll say no more. 2-0 they lead. 43rd minute on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport. In front of the Warwick Road end, how they would rise if United could get a third here. Barrett, the man taking the corner. It's an outswinger towards. There's a free head in there. Oh, Chester's missed it. Completely free on the penalty spot, and he completely missed it. What a mistake that was from James Chester for Carlisle. He should have buried Carlisle into a 3-0 lead.
Well, he should certainly have headed it on goal, shouldn't he? But he probably couldn't believe how much space he had, and too long to think about it. And, often times like that you make a mess of it, and he certainly did there. He completely missed it.
Oh, and he's gone over to take the throw-in on the far side, and how different it could have been. It could have been 3-0, but still 2-0 to Carlisle United. Goals from Marshall and OG from Harding. Ball into Grella, left-hand side of the penalty area. Nice step over, going past one man, then another, cuts it back onto the thigh of Fraser Richardson, and behind for another Carlisle corner. They're racking them up, Thorpe. That is now two. Two in quick succession, though.
Yeah,
racking them up in the last minutes.
Yeah,
not in the broader aspects of the first half.
But they are finishing stronger, aren't they? And it is the game's changed, the dynamics of it, and if Carlisle can sneak another here, then yeah, absolutely terrific. But it would be beyond everybody's expectations, I think.
Certainly would. Final minute of the first half. Wait to see how much time in terms of stoppages. But here comes the corner. In-swinger towards the near post. Michalik, was he tugged there? Well, he appealed, but nothing doing, and Lallana looks to bring it away, trying to play in Chamberlain. They've not got a great deal on, but space for someone bombing away down the left. Good tackling back there from Ben Marshall. He's having a super game for Carlisle United, looking to take his men on down that far side. Puts it around Richardson. Did it come off the Southampton man? No. The Carlisle fans thought it did. The referee, the man who matters, didn't, and it's the goal kick to the Saints.
Yeah, well, I think Ben Marshall's reaction told you everything there. He just turned and jogged away. I think he pretty much knew it was going to be a goal kick. But yeah, Carlisle just need to see the half out now. At the moment, there's been no trouble. They haven't been under any real pressure for 10 minutes or so, and it's the game's got more comfortable for them as it's gone on.
Certainly has. Clearance forwards from Davis. We are approaching the 45. In fact, there it goes, and we'll have 2 minutes time added on. And there's a shot on goal here from range, just picked up, taken early by Lallana. I had my eyes on the fourth official there, but out the corner of my eyes I saw Lallana rake that one in. It had Collins scrambling to his right, but no real danger in the end. It went 2 or 3 yards wide, and it is 2 minutes of time added on, and we're into them just now on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport. Carlisle 2, Southampton 0. Are you just joining us? Where have you been? 2-0. Marshall with a goal on 21, and 7 minutes later an own goal from Dan Harding, the Saints fullback, and United 2 to the good here at Brunton Park, and absolutely cruising. Jeff Thorpe thought he was getting a cup of tea off Jordan there, and he looked disappointedly when it was handed over to me.
I saw you'd already had one earlier. I was thinking there can't be another one, James, surely not.
It's the half-time cuppa now, delivered early by Jordan.
You had that after 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, the half-time one I had 15 in. Good little play there down the line from Barrett in search of Zoko. Just holds Fonte off, gets the throwing out of him as well. We're into the final minutes of time added on at the end of this first half. And Carlisle just pushing the issue, just thinking to themselves, if we can keep it down this end, there'll be no trouble from Southampton, and that's what they're doing. Stooping in this press box below the TV gantry just to try and keep our eyes on the action in front of us. Murphy sends it up towards the edge of the penalty area. Fonte gets something on it. Could be another throw into Carlisle. No danger really to the United, who are still to concede in this game. An ideal position to be in, especially as they've got 2 goals themselves, and Southampton crash it forwards. Michalik heads it back up towards the edge of the Southampton penalty area. Medine battling with his man. Grella trying to get it under control, but in the end it just winds up being either a through ball or a mishit shot. Couldn't really tell you which, and it's with Kelvin Davis. Can't be too long to go now. Keeping our eyes on the referee here. He wobbles around in front of us. Lambert moves it out to the right hand side, and Chaplow, he'll try and get a late cross into the penalty area. That's dangerous, turned across the face of goal somehow. It'll go behind, I think, for a goal kick to Carlisle United. Linesman's flag's up there as well. I couldn't see who it was who got the touch at the near post there, but it was good running and crossing there from Richard Chaplow, who was a lot faster than I thought he was going to be. Maybe that's just the difference between the Premier League and League One, because he looked very much like a man who just plod around in the middle of the park in his West Brom days, but he's got a bit of pace about him down at this level.
Well, that was close as well. I think it was probably Lambert going in on that one and just couldn't get enough to turn into the goal, but it was very, very close in doing so. That would have been a tonic for Southampton, of course, but Carlisle look like they've seen it out to half-time.
Half-time at Brunton Park. Carlisle United lead by 2-0. Great break. Gary Medine feeding Ben Marshall to score with a crisp drive into the bottom corner past Kelvin Davis for the opener, and then on 28 minutes, a real mess from Harding as he looked to stop Marshall getting onto a ball at the back post. Wound up hitting it into the ground and looping it over his own goalkeeper for the United second. The second time in the space of 5 days they've benefited from an own goal, and it gives them a 2-0 half-time lead against the club Greg Abbott describes as the biggest in League One. We're approaching Christmas. It probably feels a bit like it's come early for Greg Abbott and the team at half-time, Jeff Thorpe.
Well, it will do. We speak about during the season now, some games you play well in halves and you go in losing at half-time thinking, how did that happen now? With half an hour gone, I've got to say you'd be thinking, how are Carlisle 2-0 up here? Because they really hadn't put any pressure on Kelvin Davis in the Southampton goal and very little on the back four. But since then, since that second goal's gone in, they've looked to be the ones who created a little bit more and have come close on another couple of occasions. So I think they were very fortunate to get the second goal, obviously, with it being an own goal. But you know, they've done well since then, and they rode a bit of a storm early on. Peter Murphy had two really dodgy moments, and they could have been caught out. Southampton have gone close on a couple of occasions and a couple of free headers for Lambert. So it's by no means all plain sailing, but they've got two goals in a game that really that they might not have done on other days. They've been maybe a couple of goals down. So credit to them, they've cracked on since they went 2-0 up. They've looked decent, and they've got to come out in the second half and start the half better than they started the first half.
Often this season, Jeff, I've asked you at half-time what Greg Abbott will be saying to the team when he needs to turn things around, but a different but equally difficult position for him now. I guess he has to guard against a little bit of complacency. You wouldn't imagine there'd be too much of that, but what do you say to a team who've gone in at half-time 2-0 up against a side like Southampton?
Well, yeah, they've got to carry on like they played in the last 10 minutes of that half, where they were getting the ball down, they were getting it to Marshall, they were hassling Southampton, they really were, and Southampton started making mistakes, no question about it, and they got into dangerous positions. They got Grella on the ball, and it just started looking like they were going to make things happen, which for half an hour, even though they'd gone 2-0 up, they didn't really make much happen. They took advantage of two moments really of slack defending, and Southampton paid the price for it. Southampton will have chances in this game, no question about it. No matter how well you defend against some of these players in this team, they're going to create chances, and I suppose at times you've got to keep your fingers crossed that Adam Collin keeps them out, or the Southampton players fluff them, and try and keep doing what we've been doing, pushing forward towards the last 10 minutes of that half.
It's a game with star appeal. I can tell you that Blue Peter presenter Helen Skelton, formerly of BBC Radio Cumbria, is here watching United this afternoon, and it's all start from there, and they lead Southampton by 2-0 at the break here at Brunton Park.
BBC Radio Cumbria Sport.
Carlisle just coming out in front of us here, out before Southampton, and maybe that's a signal of intent here that they're more ready for this second half and for this game than Southampton were. Whatever we say about this one, Paul, you have to argue that Carlisle are playing like there's a bit of pride in it for them as much as anything else. Southampton look very neat in possession, but Carlisle was showing just that little bit more spirit. Jeff alongside me, what do you think about that? Is there an argument that Carlisle showed just a bit more spirit, maybe didn't have some of the quality of their counterparts today, but looked like they really wanted it?
No, I'm not sure whether that's the case, James. I just think they took advantage of a couple of moments of hesitation in the Southampton defence, and one pretty unlucky moment, you've got to say. I always try to gauge how I'd have felt if that had been a Carlisle own goal, and you'd have been, you'd been really unlucky on the player who tried to cut out the cross, and the fellow who stands in front of us just said, yeah, but what a great cross it is, and somebody was behind him getting ready to tap it in. I said, that ball comes in 100 times, the defender clears it 99. There's only the odd occasion where it bounces over, but I was impressed with Carlisle, how they kept plugging away. It was a difficult first 20 odd minutes. They got a goal out of nothing. They really did. I think it was only the second attempt on target, or maybe even the first. because it had pretty much been all Southampton. But yeah, they plugged away and they rode the luck. They'll play a lot better than that and come in at 0-0 with teams and maybe even losing. So that's the way a season goes. Sometimes you come in at half time and you think, right, we haven't played to our potential there, but we're 2-0 up. So let's go out and try and play to our potential. And, you know, who knows what might happen.
Who knows indeed. You're live at Brunton Park then. Southampton returning to the field as well. Doesn't look like any changes for them. Certainly none for Carlisle United. So Nigel Atkins saying to the Saints, you're the guys who got us in this position. Go out there and prove that you can get us back out of it. I can see that the assistant manager down in front of us does have clutched in his right hand a load of notes, so I just wonder if that'll be an early change should things not turn quickly for Southampton. They have Connolly and Punchin and Barnard in particular on that bench, who are players who can change games. Whether they'll change this one on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport, we'll have to see. The referee's out there now. Southampton it will be who will get us underway in this second half. They're going from left to right in front of myself and Thorpe, so they're going towards the Warwick Road end. United shooting towards the deserted waterworks here in this second half. Can they hang on to this 2-goal lead? No more goals this afternoon would do us very nicely indeed. The man in the middle then, Carl Evans, preparing to get us back underway here. We're just doing his final checks with his officials on either flank. Then he'll look to the goalkeepers. Then we will get back underway. I can tell you in the Rugby Union, by the way, England currently 35-18 up against Australia. Not long to go in that one. I'm going to keep my eyes on that one and then turn my attention back to the League One scores as we get further on, and that one's finished in the second half. Chamberlain's got away from Chester straight away down the right wing here. Danger for Carlisle. Murphy goes across with him. Cross comes in, turned behind by Berrett. Lovely break using all of the pace there of Chamberlain. He really flew away from Chester. Good touch around him down the line and then into the space. Murphy did what he could and Carlisle just about defended it. Now the corner to be taken here by the visitors. It's a high hanging one to the back post. Jaidi gets up there, turned away. Marshall heads it further away. The ladder from the television gantry is still down in front of us, which is rather annoying at the start. It is going up. Oh, look at that, straight away Moira, the head steward in this main stand here, has turned around and said, I'm doing it. So
you're very impatient, James, aren't you?
He was in the way. I couldn't see the corner. I couldn't see it. Took
it
for Southampton, and poor old Moira, but she must have a headphone in listening to BBC Radio Cumbria, because she turned around straight away and said, all right, I'm there. Ball over the top now. Frank Simek gives chase down the right-hand side, looking to put the pressure on Harding, and he gets there ahead of him. Just have to try and buy something off him here, and well, Simek thought it was the corner. He thought it came off Harding there. He's right in the face of the linesman there. He must have done for him to allow it out to play like that.
Well, I don't know. Frank seems the only person in the whole of the ground who really thought it was a corner, but there you go. But what a terrific start that was by Southampton. I mean, the ball out to the right winger Chamberlain, for him to take that with his first touch, and beautiful touch pass. That was brilliant play, and you very rarely see standard of that play in this division.
Just 17 years of age, Chamberlain. Prodigious talent. One Southampton clearly rate. He keeps out some very good players as Murphy hooks away for Carlisle down the line. Grella, I think, has played it off the Southampton man there, but they get it forwards again. Chaplow on the ball, back to that man Chamberlain. Little dink ball forwards, but too cute, and cleared away by Carlisle. Battling for it, Medine. Got a bit of a forearm in the back of the neck there. Nodded inside, back to Medine by Zoko. Good tackle, very good tackle there by Radi Jaidi, and turned away for Southampton, who looked to come forwards quickly again. Chamberlain closed down by Murphy. Gets around him though. Good play out by Chamberlain. It's not Chamberlain, it's Chaplow rather. Chamberlain is with him though, on the edge of the penalty area. Fired in, Michalik heads away, throw into Southampton. Edge of the box, right hand side.
I think they could have expected this. Certainly Southampton pushing forward. They'll be looking for a really bright start to the half, looking to get a goal to try and get back into this game.
Throw-in taken down the line. Fonte will send it forwards. Not a great touch, and it comes off Grella for another throw into the Saints. All this in the Carlisle half, just by the right-hand side of Adam Collins' penalty area, keeping his eyes on it. Southampton get this with that man Chamberlain. Tries to turn away from Chester again. Back inside him. Grella nips the ball away from him. Just playing around with it a bit there, Grella, probably looking to draw the foul out of Chamberlain. In the end, Carlisle will clear just about. They were risky there, United. Don't need to be that clever in their own penalty area. They got it clear, but Southampton have it and are coming forwards again now. Richardson plays it to the edge of the area. A bit too much space there for Chaplow for my liking. Chamberlain swiftly moves it over to the left-hand side. Good passing movement this from Southampton. Lallana on the ball. Michalik dived in and didn't get the man there. Into the back post. They're in trouble here, and it's into the back of the net. Chamberlain scores. Lallana got the cross into the back post, and he must be the smallest man on the park. Got in unmarked and headed in. Nothing Colin could do. And in the 49th minute, Alex Chamberlain has made it Carlisle 2, Southampton 1, and it is a disastrous start to the second half for United.
disastrous start, but it had been coming. They'd come out really sharp, and a really bright Southampton there, and that was terrific play. I mean, you know, we don't like to see Carlisle going to conceding a goal, but when it's great football, and knocked that about so nicely, James, and beautiful cross floated to the far side, and Chamberlain came in perfect, timed his run to perfection, and Colin just couldn't keep it out. I mean, it was a tough ask for him to try and do so. He got some hands to it, but from only about 5 yards, he'd have been surprised if he'd have missed that header. So yeah, whilst it was Carlisle have conceded, it's not good. You've got to say it was terrific play.
No, I'd have to dispute that to an extent. Why was Michlik the man picking up the left winger Lallana, and who was supposed to be picking up the smallest man on the park at the back post? All right, you can open a team up, but why was Michlik over with Lallana? Why is that not Simek's duty? I think Carlisle were a little bit too ragged there, a bit too easily opened up for my liking. But now they've got to try and rally here, because Southampton are coming forwards again, and they'll certainly have the bit between their teeth as Harding looks to drive down the left-hand side. Infield he comes to Lallana, laid on that goal for Chamberlain, winger to winger. Really should have been marked at the back post there, Chamberlain, and likewise Lallana. Why he wasn't on Lambert, I don't know. They're coming forwards again. Lovely footwork, shot from the edge of the area, coming now, gathered by Colin. A lovely run there, absolutely outstanding run through there by Lallana. He's laid on one, looking to score the second. His footwork was absolutely sublime, and unfortunately this shot, fortunately for Carlisle, didn't quite live up to it. England have beaten Australia by 35 points to 18 today. 35-18, an excellent victory that is over what's supposed to be the world's best rugby union side for England at HQ. Well done to them, and we can turn our attention back to the scores as they flash up now in League One. So good news for England, not such good news at the moment for Carlisle, Jeff.
Well, they're still 2-1 up, aren't they? We knew Southampton would come at them, and I said Southampton, they will create chances. They've got too many good players out there, James, for you not to have. You need them to have a real bad off day for them not to be creating chances. And listen, they'll create chances again in this half. It's how Carlisle deal with them, and I've got a tinge of sympathy with the Carlisle. I'm not too critical of that defending, because I just thought it was terrific play.
Former United player Jeff Thorpe with his thoughts there. He's our expert. I have to go along with what you say, Jeff.
No, you don't, and it's right that you all have opinions.
No, indeed. But
I look at how well they created, how quick the passing was, they moved it about. Lallana's so tricky on that left-hand side.
No, we're not match of the day. I'm not going to agree with you for the sake of it, but we do pay for you to be our expert, is what I'm saying. But I just feel there that a few players were in the wrong positions. As Zoko looks to bring it forwards here for Carlisle, can't quite win it though, and Southampton take it away and come forwards again. Lallana's coming in from the wing every time and getting onto the ball there, but United this time get it away from him. Played back into defence for Carlisle. Michlik looks to sweep it left in search of, I don't know who really. Murphy's up front there for no apparent reason, and the ball forwards from Barrett, not quite reaching Zoko, and through to goalkeeper Kelvin Davis, and United need to regroup here.
Yeah, well again it's a slow start to a half by Carlisle. They were very slow in the first half and got away with it really. Southampton didn't punish them, but they've punished them early on in this half.
Long one forwards. Thorpe there deciding to stop talking as I'm swigging down the last swig of my cup of tea. And it's over on the right hand side now with Chaplow. The man on loan from Preston gets it in near post. Murphy turns it up rather than really away, and Chaplow battling with Grella on this near side in front of myself and Thorpe. Well, I don't think that went out to play there. The linesman's flagged there, and I don't think that was out, Jeff, and I think you agree.
Yeah, it didn't look like it, did it? I thought Chaplow had been pretty quick really to get round and keep that in, but unfortunately for Carlisle, the linesman's flag went up and they can try and get this cleared down the pitch.
Still the fact for Carlisle, if they can stop Southampton scoring again, they'll win this game, as James Chester ran to take the throw in there and it slipped out of his hands. Goes back down the line to Murphy. Hooks it up and over the top. Medine gives chase. Fonte all over him as he wins the header down the line, but fairly enough, said the referee, and that man Chamberlain causing havoc in there again for Carlisle. Grella does well under pressure, but he's lost it to Chamberlain, who's kept it in play himself. Now he's around Chester again down the right hand side, crossing to the back post. There's no one there. Needs to be a call to Colin just to keep it calm, and he plucked it out of the night sky and did keep it calm.
I've got to say, I like our Carlisle's creative players. I like Grella, I like Soko, but they dawdle on the ball in dodgy areas for me, and Southampton were very quick.
Oh, there could be a break on there almost for Zoko, but a through header from Medine. He felt he was caught by JD, and I have a touch of sympathy as well for him, but almost wound up being a through ball as Taiwo wins a good defensive header. Barrett's touch is a bit loose, gets it into Chester though. Back to Murphy he goes. He's under a bit of pressure here, puts it to Adam Collins right, and he'll clear this one without too much trouble. Good play by United in the end at the back. Chest control Medine. Grella surely barged in the back. The referee's not giving it. I cannot believe he's not giving that. Straight into the back of Grella went the Southampton man there, but anyway, the referee's allowed play to go on. They're offside. The danger will go. Jeff, surely that was a foul. foul.
Yeah, it certainly looked like a free kick, didn't it? But the refs let 2 or 3 go on, from both sides, where I've thought that's a clear free kick, and he's let it go on and hasn't given it. So, it's
maybe
frustrating.
United need to get wise to that.
But that was, well, they were lucky really, because Lallana just strayed. It can't have been much, only a few inches offside there, and he'd made a run from that left wing position into the midfield, and he was through on goal really with his touch, and he ended up having a shot. That's why the Carlisle fans had a bit of a jeer, probably wanted him booked, but United have got to wake up a bit in this half, because they've started slowly.
Certainly have. Other scores of note in the division: Bristol Rovers 0, Leyton Orient 2, and the Rovers down to 10 men in that one. Goal kick to Southampton from Adam Collins, clear us. And what about this one? Peterborough 0, Charlton 4. And Charlton at the moment going up into second in the division. There's been another goal at the Memorial as well in a game between Bristol Rovers and Leyton Orient, and it's more bad news for Rovers. Leyton Orient now 3-0 up as Carlisle battle again, but again concede another goal kick.
Yeah, there's some great battles out there today. There's Medine and Fonte who've had a bit of a run-in already. There's Marshall and Hardin. They've had a real good battle. And Peter Murphy and Lambert have been at each other since the start. They've got history from the Cup, the final last year. So there's some good individual battles, James.
Big win from Michalik there in the air, but headed forwards again out of midfield by Southampton. Murphy instructs Simek to go back to goalkeeper Colin, who does and clears up and over the top.
Of course, Lallana and Simek as well, and Lallana's such a good player, isn't he? Well, I mean, we saw him last year, and he was excellent for them. And
can look a bit of a luxury, fades in and out of games, but when he's in, he's absolutely devastating.
He's one of those players, you've got to get him the ball, so that when you get him the ball, he'll do things with it. Otherwise, he's a spare part for your team. Won't do an awful lot, but look, that's what it's about, isn't it? Football, get it to good players.
In a similar vein, argument that Carlisle need to get a couple of their at times peripheral players a bit more onto the ball. I'm thinking Grella and Zoko, to be honest.
Grella and Zoko have hardly touched it this half. Marshall's hardly touched it, and no Carlisle player really has, apart from trying to clear the ball.
Yeah, certainly so. Good tackle there from Marshall and his man as we speak about him. Ball over the top. Zoko gives chase. Jidey wins his header comfortably though. Barrett battling for it in midfield. The referee felt it was a high boot. Can't really argue there. Chaplow took it on his chest. Barrett was tackling with his studs up. Around about neck height, so free kick to Southampton. They drive out to the far side. United still leading by 2-1 here, and Grella on the ball now, as if by magic after we requested him. Turns inside his man nicely here, looking to get it towards goal, but hung on too long. Was closed down, and Southampton get it clear. Still 2-1 to Carlisle against the Saints. Still 1-0 to Barrow in their match against AFC Wimbledon. The Reds still goalless in their game at Wet Corby, and Hucknall still beating Kendal by 1-0 on BBC Radio Cumbria AM. Hucknall are now 2-1 up as Marshall's taken Harding on down the touchline, gets the cross in, turned away at source by Southampton. Barrett should collect on the edge of the area, delivers to Chester. Carlisle's left back for the day. The ball up to Barrett isn't brilliant from Chester, but he makes something of it. Looking to play the 1-2 with Zoko, going into the area, shot on goal, good save. What a run that was from James Barrett. He just kept on going through tackles, poor balls from teammates, and somehow fashioned the shot, which Davis palmed away for a corner here in the 57th minute. Still 2-1 to United.
Carlisle springing to life. It's taken them 57 minutes to do so. Brilliant play by Barrett. Really, really good play, and got a great strike in, but a good save by Kelvin Davis.
Really was. Here comes the corner in towards the penalty spot. Chester wins it into the back of the net! James Chester smashes that one, and he missed a gilt-edged chance in the first half. He wasn't going to do it a second time. 57 on the clock from the Berwick corner, earned by Barrett. Chester crashes a header beyond Southampton, and it's Carlisle 3, the Saints 1.
Well, again, Carlisle have not had a sniff really in this second half until Barrett's effort 30 seconds ago from the corner. Poor defending by Southampton, but that man James Chester on and around the 6-yard line. It wasn't that far out. Got a really powerful header. They tried to keep it out on the line, but it could only deflect it in the back of the net, and United get that 2-goal lead again. Just pretty much same as the first half. They've been really poor. They haven't had any ball, hardly had any chances, and yet they get a goal out of nothing.
Yeah, unbelievable. And they've got that 2-goal margin again. Now let's see what they can do, Carlisle United. Chester's tried to take his man on there, which is not exactly advised, because it's the lightning quick Chamberlain. Clears more formulaically this time straight down the line, and possession back with Southampton. Zoko trying to force Davis into a hurried clearance, and does. Ball over the top should find its way through to the Carlisle goalkeeper Adam Collin in coral flush jersey, and United have possession back with Peter Murphy now on the edge of the area.
We saw in the first half how Southampton were in pretty much total control and conceded a goal, and then another one pretty quickly, and they kind of lost the plot a bit, didn't they? So let's see how they react to this.
Tranmere 1, Plymouth 0. Jennings with the goal. Dale Jennings, the Another prodigious young winger. There is some talent in this division. Free kick to Southampton. Cheap foul there by Marshall on Lallana on that far side. Jennings, a 17-year-old, really ripping up trees at Tranmere. This man Chamberlain certainly looks a star of the future for Southampton. Chester, of course, with Carlisle United, looks a wonderful player, although he does belong to Manchester United. And there's a mistake by Southampton on the far side. Taiwo looking to find a way past Fonte. Southampton man passed it, I think, to his fullback there, and he just wasn't there, and Carlisle nearly broke down the right-hand side, but Fonte read the situation well out of the centre of defence for the Saints, and it's a throw into Carlisle, right-hand side.
Again, it was Taiwo, he was onto it like a flash, but his touch was far too heavy down the touchline, but poor lad, I mean, he chased it, but he really gave Fonte the chance to get a tackle in. He
tried the old kick and run, didn't he, but didn't have the legs to keep it away from Fonte, and Southampton have actually cleared the danger there. Lambert, good chest control, and gets it back into the centre of midfield with his teammates. Good striking play there to Chamberlain over on the right hand side. Nice play this from Southampton. They've got men in spaces through the middle, but it's easily cut out by James Chester, who's far too good for that ball, and it's going to be a throw in the end for Southampton in the right back position. And you've noticed something, Jeff? Is there a change on its way?
Yeah, I think it won't be long until Southampton make at least one change, possibly two, but there's been a bit of chatting down there on the Southampton dugout between the coaches and various subs going out to get warmed up.
Lallana coming forwards here, having a bit of a run at Simek again, pushed inside though, and now they're trying to tack down the right hand side. Fraser Richardson coming forwards from the right back position, gets the ball in towards the back post. United have covering men there, comes off Simek, and it's a corner. No, it's not. The referee spotted a foul on Simek. Free kick to Carlisle at the back. Good news. They've that many coaches down on that bench, Southampton. I thought you were only allowed 2 people to be stood up in the technical area. There are about 8 there, and none of them look young enough to be players. I think it is Barnard who's going to come on. No, it's going to be Ryan Dixon who's going to come on. Well, yeah. I'll tell you what, he's a defender, Dixon, so they must have an injury in there. It doesn't seem like the most likely change when you've just gone 2 goals behind again, Thorpe.
Yeah, it doesn't. So, yeah, I presume you're right, James. It must be an injury. Somebody must be struggling.
Can't really see who that is. Jaidi's just won ahead comfortably enough. Fonte looks fine. I wonder if they're worrying about somebody in the wide areas as Southampton look to break forwards. Can't do, and it's a throw into Carlisle. Good defending again by Lubo Michalik, who rather cutely leaves the ball over in the disabled enclosure there on the far side, and Carlisle can waste a few seconds as this substitution will come on. The attendance, by the way, today 6,578. 901 are from Southampton. Yeah, I thought there were quite a few from the Saints. 901, decent travelling. Fair play to the Southampton fans, and I know we've got a few listening today. One's been in touch on Twitter actually at half time to say that Southampton, the man coming off is Harding, by the way, he's been a bit of a pantomime villain, but I don't see why the Carlisle fans are booing, because he rather obligingly gave them a goal in the first half. So he's the man who's coming off. That's the change at the back, and they might actually be reshaping here. Ryan Dixon, the number 5, the man coming on for them. But yes, that Southampton fan who's been in touch on Twitter wanted us to know that Southampton paid off all of their debts in full to their creditors. They were in administration, but because they got a billionaire owner in, Carl Lieber, who sadly is no longer with us, they paid off all their debts in full, and the £1 million for the likes of Fonte and Ricky Lambert were paid out of that billionaire owner's own personal fortune. So you've set us right on that one, young man, and we're sorry for getting that wrong about your club. I can understand that actually, because if Carlisle had had some tricky situations in debts and somebody was getting it wrong about them, you'd see why they'd be a little bit upset about it, Jeff.
Yeah, that's fair play to them, but you know, the way a lot of football clubs are run isn't the same as that, so it's all credit to Southampton and the owners for doing that.
Yeah, very rare that you see somebody come in when a club's in administration, take over and pay off all the debts in full. It'd be so easy for whoever it was just to have said, well, let's pay him off 0.1p in the pound, and then we'll put our money into it. So yeah, well done Southampton. You're not a bad club. We enjoyed our time down there last year, and we're enjoying your time up here this year. Just Wembley that we didn't enjoy so much.
Rarely ever seen a player, even a Carlisle player, coming off and receive such a good reception from the Carlisle crowd as Harding, the Southampton fullback, did.
Marshall battling for the ball there, smashed out of defence by the recent introduction Dixon, and Carlisle looked to get it clear. Dixon's only a fairly young lad, 23 years of age, not played much football this season. Good header there, back in towards Kelvin Davis. Soko sniffing around it, but never going to get there, and Southampton have it comfortably at the back. We're beyond the hour mark now, 63 on the clock. Carlisle 3, Southampton 1. It's some scoreline, and it's some performance from Carlisle. Been a bit smash and grab at times. At others, though, they've looked worth their share. And they're pushing Southampton back here, and it's going to be a throw to Southampton all the way back towards their own goal. And they just keep them in there, Jeff, and turn the screw.
Well, yeah, it was the same as what happened in the first half when Carlisle scored. Southampton kind of lost their way a little bit after looking really comfortable. So this will do, Carlisle.
Certainly will. Chamberlain, the Southampton goalscorer, on the ball, just wriggles his way away from a couple of Carlisle markers. Ball through the middle. I thought Chaplow was offside there. The referee's pulled it back for a free kick on Chamberlain. I did think Chaplow was offside there, and I tell you what, I also thought the linesman wasn't quite up with play. Doesn't matter though, because it's been pulled back for the free kick for the foul on Chamberlain, and it'll be sent forwards towards the edge of the Carlisle penalty area. 64th minute now. 3-1 United lead if you're just tuning in. More on that in a minute. Here comes the ball up to the edge. Jaidi surely ran into the back of Medine there. Referee didn't see it that way, and the ball sent forwards again by Southampton. Jaidi battling again with Medine for it. Might just break to him on the edge of the area. Does break to him. Almost finds its way through, but Peter Murphy sweeping up at the back. Turns it away for a throw-in on the far side. Good resolute defending by Carlisle. Certainly more so than with the goal they conceded a short while into the second half. Been very much in control though since getting their third goal, Carlisle, but they need to keep Southampton at arm's length here. If they get back within a goal of them, anything really could happen here. Down the left hand side, the Saints look to come forwards again, just pressing and probing on the edge of that penalty area. Turned away by United up towards halfway. Jaidi sends it over to his fullback Richardson on this right hand side. Keeps it on the floor as he goes down the line to Fonte. Nice turn by Jose Fonte. Over to Chamberlain on the right. Has he kept that? Again, I don't think that had gone out of play, and the linesman flagged. Well, he's given the throw-in to Carlisle, Jeff, but I didn't think that was out again.
Yeah, I think it was probably, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. It looked close, but that's what the linesman's there for.
Oh, that's risky by Grella, edge of the area, and they've had to foul their man. Still alive here for Southampton. Lallana spins one way, then the other. Carlisle get the ball away. United wasted the advantage there, but they gave a tremendous advantage to Southampton by trying to be too clever at the back there, and they were oh so nearly caught out, and it was really poor player. Grella was given the ball with not a great deal he could have done. I think it was Berrett who should have bombed it clear. He played it to Grella, who was in a tight situation. He tried to play it again quickly, and United nearly in all sorts of trouble of their own making there. Workington are now 1-0 down at Corby in Blue Square North. Barrow lead by a goal to nil at home to the Blue Square Premier leaders. All those games on BBC Radio Cumbria AM and online. Here on FM, Carlisle coming forwards with Marshall. Has support from Zoko on the right. Didn't really get ahead of him there. Skips over the tackle, Marshall. Still he continues to come forward. Still he keeps on going now. Chips it in towards the back post. There's no one there for Carlisle. Zoko really didn't help Marshall there with his run, did he? He just seemed to be in his way as much as anything.
Well, Zoko was on that far side and he was waiting for the pass and waiting for the pass and waiting for the pass, and that obviously never came. So
is it more Marshall's fault? Should he have played the ball in there? Surely a foul, and yes, Carlisle get the foul on Grella.
I don't really think it was anybody's fault really. Zoko had made himself available for it. Marshall didn't want to use him and ended up getting a reasonable crossing, but because of that there was only Medine in the area and that one ball beat him.
Grella's been caught then. 66th minute here. There's a change coming shortly. I think a Carlisle player, maybe Matty Robson coming on, but they have a free kick which Berrett will swing in. It's on the left of the Southampton penalty area, an in-swinger then from Berrett towards the back post. Here it goes. They've got, oh dear, doesn't matter how many men they've got in there, it's straight out to play. It's about 10 feet as it crosses the byline, and it's a goal kick. Southampton 3-1 down here at Carlisle, and Gary Medine's gone down with a knock. So let's get some Premier League scores for you. Tottenham 3, Blackburn 0, the latest we've got coming in. Wolves 1, Bolton 3, Wigan 1, West Brom 0, West Ham 0, Blackpool 0, Newcastle 0, Fulham 0, Man City 0, Birmingham 0. And in League 1, all the scores that we've got for you: Hartlepool 2, Brighton 1, latest score that we've got coming in for you. Exeter 3, Notts County 1 as well. I'll go through them all actually while we've got this break in play. Leyton Orient 3 up at Bristol Rovers, MK Dons 2 up at Brentford, 2-0 that is. Bournemouth still lead Walsall by a goal to nil. Oldham 1, Huddersfield 0, Peterborough 1 now, Charlton 4, Sheffield 1, Rochdale 0, Swindon 2, Colchester 1, Tranmere 1, Plymouth 0, and Yeovil against Dagenham is even at 1-1. And Gary Medine is okay to carry on, and Matty Robson's coming on shortly here. Is he? No, I don't think he is okay to carry on actually. Looks like he'll be the one who's coming off, and he is for Matty Robson. He's picked up a knocking off. He comes, Jeff Thorpe.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's wrong with him, but he's just wandered off there. He's obviously got some kind of an injury, I would imagine so. And that means they've had a slight change about with Grella and Zoko. Well, Grella going up into that more forward position with Matty Robson up and down this left-hand side.
I tell you what, there's some talent up front there. Grella and Zoko. I mean, you don't necessarily think of it. You assume that Medine's in your starting 11, don't you? Because that's how well he's come on for Carlisle in recent months. Barrett wins possession, but there's some talent up there. With somebody of the age of Radi Jaidi, those two running at him, they could really find a way in here, Carlisle. Let's see if they do. You'll find out on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport as Marshall almost surrenders possession, but manages to get the throw in for Carlisle, but there is some movement and there's some brain up there now.
You look at on the day, they've got a front four out there that are a match for anybody with Grella, Zoko. You've got Robson on his day up and down the left wing, really good player, and Marshall, who's looking better and better with every game, and up and down that right wing. So if we can get enough of the ball and get it to those danger men, they'll make things happen.
Certainly will. Looking for Robson now on the left hand side, might still get to him as well. Chamberlain on the ball, just about keeps it away from Carlisle, and Southampton come forward, smash one over the top in search of Lambert. It will look for Chamberlain, but Chester's done well and cut it out. That's a very risky back pass from Peter Murphy. It made it in the end, but more by luck than anything else. He's got to stop doing things like that, Jeff Thorpe.
Yeah, well, that was nearly a big mistake, wasn't it? And they can count themselves lucky they got away with it.
They very much can do. So I think it was Michalik got in the way of a Southampton man who was going through. Ball into the back post, headed away in there by Michalik. Forwards again by Southampton. Lambert on the edge, tries to tee up the shot. Cracking tackle from Tom Taiwo. Fantastic stuff. Southampton players running to Simek in the penalty area and then thrown himself to the ground. So Carlisle's captain will put it out of play. Now the referee stopped play. I think is it Lallana up there? Bit extravagant the way he went down there, and the referee's calling the two players in now. He stopped play. Don't know what he's going to say to them. It will have to be a bounce up, and
he's just going to
give it back to Adam Collin, right?
Yeah,
so it's an uncontested bounce up that the Carlisle goalkeeper's picked up. Lambert tried to close him down as well as he did pick it up, and now Murphy brings it forwards for United, looking for Marshall on the right hand side. He'll do well to keep that in. Few appeals for a handball there, and he has done well to keep it in. Now plays it through the middle in search of Grella, doesn't quite get there, cut out by the Saints. 70th minute we're into now, 20 to go. United lead by 2, 3-1 here against Southampton. Goals from Chester, Marshall, and an OG from Harding. Tottenham 4 now, the latest score I'm getting in my ear. Tottenham 4, Blackburn 0. Second for Gareth Bale, and I think it's a yellow card there. Was it Lubo Michalik picked that one up, Thorpe, for a bit of a late tackle?
I think he was diving in from behind on the halfway line. Again, not really necessary. The ball wasn't going forward for, it was pretty comfortable. Carlisle had enough players back and just lunged in a bit. I don't think he caught his player, but the referee obviously deemed it to be a dangerous tackle from behind as well. So
yeah, it's the intent.
It's gone in the book.
Yeah, you don't have to. Have to catch them anymore, do you? It's the reckless endangerment they call it. They have these official wordings for them. Jumping in basically, ball over the top from Southampton. United will have to defend this carefully. Edge of the area, it breaks, great here, what a save! Oh, it was a fine strike on the edge, and I'm not sure who it was. I think it's Hammond actually, has his head in his hands. He caught it perfectly, and Colin got down somehow and turned it out to the bottom corner for a Southampton corner. What a strike, what a save. Here comes the corner for the Saints, back towards goal. It's bobbling around in there, up to the edge by Carlisle, just about turned away. Chamberlain gets it back for the Saints, and they'll come forwards again. Over to the left-hand side they look to go. Simek controls and smashes it forward. Zoko won't get onto that, and it'll be a throw into Southampton midway in their own half on the left-hand side. Great stuff from Colin.
What a save, Adam Collin. Brilliant stuff. Had to get down really quickly to his right-hand side, and if he hadn't got fingertips onto that was in the corner. But what a strike from the edge of the box, and Adam saved Carlisle there.
Certainly did. Saved in every way. What a good save it was. Sprawling to his right and turned away. On the Carlisle message board I saw a thing about could Colin be better than Westwood, is one of the debates that they were all talking about on there, the internet warriors, and I wonder, I never actually looked at the thread, but I just wonder whether he could. He does seem to be growing with every game. Some Carlisle fans yet to be entirely sold on him. Hang on a second here, coming forwards that man Chamberlain again for Southampton. Quick break for the Saints, but stifled by United. Still they're in possession though. Lambert on the ball, edge of the area, looks to slide it through. It's a great ball to Chaplow. He's dragged it wide. It was a super ball. It should have been a goal for Southampton, and he's dragged it wide. And they're going to bring on Barnard here as they look to try and get back into the game. Southampton should have scored. Carlisle United just going a little bit dangerously now.
Oh well, definitely he's it just looked like he needed to knock that either side of Adam Collin, really. A bit of composure, through one-on-one with the keeper, but he's made a real mess of it, and Southampton's arguably probably the best chance of the half has gone.
Certainly was. Lee Barnard has come on, and he's come on for Morgan Schneidling on his return from injury. He's not been particularly impressive, Schneidling, and it's more of the 4-4-2 now for Southampton, and Barnard up alongside Lambert is a devastatingly good strike force at this level. Barrow 2, AFC Wimbledon 0. Mark Goodfellow with a goal for the Bluebirds. Well done to him and the Bluebirds. Excellent stuff from them. That's on AM and online on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport. Here on FM, United looking to try and keep Southampton at arm's length, but a reminder in the last couple of minutes Thorpe, about just how good this Southampton side are?
Well, I've said all along they'll make chances, and they'll probably make more chances in the next 20 minutes or so till the end of the game. And Carlisle has said at times they'll have to defend well and they'll get credit for it. At other times they've got to hold their breath and keep their fingers crossed. And that was one of their occasions where it was down to Southampton making a mess of a really, really good chance. 17
minutes to play here at Brunton Park. Carlisle 3, Southampton 1. Goals from Chester and Marshall, and an own goal in the middle from Harding, now been substituted for Southampton, who are coming forwards here. Lambert looking to play in. Barnard, edge of the area. Carlisle getting back with Simek. Should be cleared by Colin and is up towards halfway. Won't be gathered though by Zoko. Headed by Fonte. Puts a bit of pressure on fullback Richardson, but Carlisle can't capitalise. Michalik just bombs it forward. Says, go on, have a chase at that lump. And Matthew Robson does. We'll look to get it under control now. Keeps his eye on where Richardson is. And Carlisle's left wing has done well to get that one under control. Can he try and find a way around Richardson? Gets the thrown off him. Well done. Something out of nothing there for Carlisle.
Yeah, well, it is. Michalik certainly wasn't taking any chances there, and he just walloped it, didn't he? So get it away from danger, get it up the other end of the pitch, and let's have a bit of respite for a few minutes after coming really close to conceding.
Chester on the ball here, left wing position for Carlisle's star centre back, crossing his paw. He looks every inch of centre half there, and it's a goal kick to Southampton. Oh, you just hope he's going to do something brilliant there, don't you? But not the case.
Not the case. It's about Carlisle really keeping the shape, defending really well. They know they're going to come under pressure, and they've got to. I think there's still opportunities for them to hit Southampton on the break. As the game goes on, Southampton will get a bit more carefree, push more men forward, leave more gaps at the back. If you can defend well enough, then you certainly with the players Carlisle have on there, you can take advantage of the space that will undoubtedly come for them.
Not good hands in the paddock in front of us there. Michalik's clearance. Wouldn't have made it into that England cricket team with handling like that. You won't be in the Ashes squad, whoever that was, but just about got it down in the end, over the tunnel and out back onto the pitch. Michalik taking no prisoners with his clearances at the moment. He's just booming them anywhere and keeping United away from danger in his own inimitable ways. Southampton look to find a way forwards again down the left-hand side. Nice turn by Ryan Dixon in defence. Coming deep for the ball, Chaplow. Back up to the left wing. Carlisle should get the tackle in there. The referee felt the tackle was fair, although it was heavy. Barrett looking to go to Marshall, but it's been cut out, and it's a good play now by Southampton coming forwards, trying to slide in their man, but that's not a good play, and Carlisle get it back. Oh, very loose by Grella, almost caught United out there. Turns nicely away from his man. That's much better from United's USA forward as he looks to come forwards, trying to play in Francois Zoko. Kelvin Davis has to come out of his area and clear, and he clears well. Michalik heads it back up towards halfway. Taiwo battles for it, but it's a mismatch against the much taller Hammond, who wins. But United pick it up on the right hand side and will look to come forwards at Southampton again. Simek's been played in by Marshall. This is good from United. He'll look near post, but Zoko gets the cushion volley, but just too much on it. Not enough cushion, too much volley in the end, and it's into the waterworks. But good approach from United, who are showing that they can come forwards on the counter-attack and maybe not score, but at least give the Saints something to think about as they look to come forwards with almost gay abandon.
Yeah, well, I said the chances will come for Carlisle if they can take advantage of the spaces and the space that's going to open up. And that time again, Frank Simek would talk about him overlapping. He loves to get forward, and great ball into the area. There was only Zoko to aim at, 2 or 3 Southampton defenders in attendance.
Picked him out though.
Yeah, really difficult skill for Zoko to try and keep that down, and he couldn't do it in the end.
Yeah, it would have been some goal, wouldn't it? Barnard has it, left hand side, looking to run at the Carlisle back line, gets the shot away. Always going wide, goal kick to United. Another goal in the Premier League, and Wolves have got another one back against Bolton. Wolves 2, Bolton 3. Everyone's making a big deal of the fact Wolves have made 11 changes today, but of course they made 10 changes in the game before at Aston Villa.
Blackpool.
So they're actually... Sorry?
Blackpool.
Was that Blackpool? Of course it was.
Wolves was last year.
Wolves was last year. I've got confused with my change. Who's making how many changes? Shut up, James, and carry on with watching Carlisle. All right. Carlisle 3-1 up then here against Southampton. At least I can get that right. Just about. Zoko on the ball, battling for it. Barrett gets it to Robson on the left. Barrett again on the ball. Dinks it down the line and off a Southampton man and away for a throw in front of us. 3-1 as Graham Kavanagh crutches the ball back towards Barrett, who will take it. United's left back for the day. Funny setup at the back, but so far working. Takes a throw in to Grella, looks to hook it to the right hand side, and Marshall needed to gather first time and hasn't quite, and Southampton get it back. And they'll look to come forwards again at United. Nice turn again by Dixon. Inside he goes. Lallana linking up with him, but cut out by Carlisle. Nicely so. And up to the right wing, and a bit of space now for Marshall to look to operate in. Down the right hand side of the penalty area. Cuts inside his man. Onto his left foot. Back onto his right foot. Tries to get the crossing. Comes off a Southampton man. and it's behind for a corner. Got something now, but might have got more.
Look, way too greedy. He's got to get his head up and look there. There's too many players in front of him, and there was two on the edge of the box screaming for it. Grella and somebody else. All the Southampton players have been attracted to the ball. Just a little cutback, and then they'd have had a free shot. That's greedy play. You've got to give it.
Thoughts to the former United midfielder Jeff Thorpe on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport. Here comes the corner, smashed away by Chaplow for Southampton. Oh, and Taiwo's gone under the ball there, and I think he's a bit fortunate to get that. I think he must judge that. He might have had a little nudge off the Southampton man, but you're to expect that sort of contact in football. And I think the referee's probably just helped him out of jail a touch there. Hartlepool 3, Brighton 1, with the score coming in League One, and it's now Dagenham 2-1 up at Yeovil. Hucknall 4, Kendal 1. Dear me, what's happening to Kendal Town? Southampton clearing up to Chamberlain, edge of their own penalty area. He's trying to run it away from various men, and he's somehow managed to pick out Harding. It wasn't the man he was aiming for, and Southampton will come forwards again now. Going into the middle of the park, Lallana loves to run with the ball at his feet. Over to Dixon, who's just come on in the left back position for Harding, who had a bit of a comedy performance in there, and in the end they've sort of passed it into Carlisle possession basically, and United just smash it clear. Again, that man Michalik taking no chances. It's a risky ball from the goalkeeper Davis there. Came all the way over to the touchline on the right hand side and then passed it square across the face of his penalty area to Jaidi. If he'd have mishit that at all, Zoko would have been away and through on goal. As Simek battles for the ball, battles he does, but it somehow found its way to Lallana, cutting in on the left hand side. He'll look to get the cross in, turn to the back post. Chamberlain's there. Matty Robson looking to get in. He's done ever so well defending there and buys the throw in off Chamberlain. Well done, Matty Robson. Well, he'll feel he's got something to prove. He's not been at his best in recent weeks. He's been dropped today, but he's really working hard there. And another change is coming here for Carlisle United. Craig Curran is looking to come on and maybe give United a bit more energy up front. Maybe come on the right-hand side. Let's see. Here comes the fourth official's board. He's coming in for Francois Zoko, so maybe a little bit more running up front for Carlisle here, Thorpe.
Yeah, Zoko's had a decent game today. He put himself about. He hasn't had an awful lot of the ball, but you know, it's been one of those games for Carlisle, but they've taken advantage of it when they've got it in those areas. But they'll certainly be looking at Craig Curran's pace and his enthusiasm, and like you say, had a bit of energy up there. 10 to play. Curran battling with Fonte, almost won Carlisle an early free kick there with his first touches of the game, but it goes all the way back through to goalkeeper Calvin Davis. Grella looks to close him down, smashed forwards by the Southampton keeper, flicked on by, that's lovely. It was almost lovely play by Chamberlain, and Michalik once again just smashes it away. He is taking no chances. He has been reading the Alan Hansen book of defending. Nobody scores from the Fifth Road Stadium. Yeah, get it away. Just smashes it away. Every time it's come near him, he's just boomed it away. But Chamberlain flicked it over the head of Peter Murphy there, and he looked like he was away, but quickly over to smash it clear was Michalik. And now Southampton taking the time over their throw-in. Less than 10 minutes plus stoppage time here at Brunton Park. Lambert gets onto the ball there a bit too easily, not picked up, and Hammond gets it square to the left hand side where Southampton will look to attack. Down the wing they go to Lallana. He's a real creative influence. Cuts inside his man and will try and play in Dixon maybe down the touchline. Can't. That avenue's been cut off, so he comes square again. Hammond picks it up on the edge. Already had one great shot. That's another fine hit, and it's found its way in. What a goal from Hammond. He just gave it the full beans on the edge of the area, and somehow it wrong-footed the Carlisle goalkeeper Adam Collin, and it's flown in. I'm not entirely sure what Adam Collin was doing. It was fiercely struck, but he seemed to lose the flight of it. Maybe it was the swerve on the ball. I don't know if it took a deflection. I don't think it did, and it's in, and it's Carlisle 3, Southampton 2, and it's game on here in the 81st minute, that one going in. Yeah, well, it was a great strike. I'm not sure. It went through a few players. Did it get a deflection? Certainly seemed to wrong foot Adam Collin, who'd gone down to his right-hand side and flung a leg out to try and get it. It was one of those that, you know, if you were stood from behind, you'd been able to see, obviously, but you know, it's unusual for the keeper to go down like that unless there has been a deflection on it or the ball's moved in the air. I'm not sure there was. I think he might have hit across it with the laces on the sweet spot, and it might have started out going left and then swerved right. Maybe just give credit to the attacking player there, but Adam Collin certainly didn't look comfortable when he went down, and Carlisle now just a goal ahead of Southampton, and once again they've got to defend doggedly here to stop the Saints getting something out of this game. Ball forwards, Michalik underneath,
header forwards. Chamberlain picks it up again for Southampton, who are coming forwards here, and smashed away again by Michalik. And it's another throw into the Saints, and all of a sudden it's going to be a lot more nervy towards the end of this one as we go into the 83rd minute on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport. 3-2 to United.
Yeah, well, Southampton missed a lot better chances than that, didn't they? And they probably thought, well, I might as well have a shot here from distance, and struck it really well, and it's allowed them to get back in the game. So yeah, it's going to be a nervy last 7 or 8 minutes here, James.
He forced a great save from Colin earlier in the match, actually. Well, Barnard's picked that up in a bit too much space on the edge of the area. United players snapping around at him, gets the shot away, and it dipped just over the bar. It was a great hit from Barnard. He feels there was a touch and it should be a corner. Lallana on the left feels he should have played him in, as it was. He normally put the ball in for the equaliser, but just over Colin's goal.
Yeah, I'd like to say I think Adam had it covered, but certainly too close for comfort again. The Carlisle fans are going to be really nervous now going into the last few minutes. It's Southampton pushing forward all the time, and Carlisle still struggling really to get a foothold and get some possession and really try and kill the pace of the game.
Yeah, they are, and Southampton coming forwards again here. Lambert giving chase down the right wing. Murphy smashes it away and turns it around as Carlisle to approach now down the left, going for it. Curran battling with his man. It's a throw into Southampton, but good to see Carlisle involved in the scrap there with Curran.
Well, that's what he'll give you. You know, Curran will chase everything and make a challenge and make it tough on the defenders. But
ball over the top here. Lambert looking to get the flick on. Surely Barnard's offside. Yes, he is. Free kick to Carlisle, edge of their own penalty area, and it's Yeovil 1, Dagenham 3. Great effort by them. 3-1 up there, and they're within the last few minutes of that game. Carlisle a bit more to do. Delayed kick-off here because of the Remembrance weekend. I was going to say celebrations, that's not the right word, but the remembrance basically anyway. The minute silence took us well into about 3:05 before we got underway. Surely a push in the back there from Curran on his man, as the man of match is given by the sponsors to Lubo Michalik. Matthew Robson's down the line here, no one really in the penalty area, so Robson comes further down the line to Chester. He'll give it back to Robson, one man to take on. He could go back to Chester, has gone back to him, flicked down the line from Chester in search of Curran. Robson's inside him if he could pick him out there, goes instead to Barrett, gets it to Robson in the end down the line, and they'll take it towards the corner flag here. Matthew Robson drives it, didn't come off his man, don't think it did. It's a goal kick. He was looking for the corner, couldn't quite get it, and it's in the waterworks end behind Kelvin Davis goals, and the Southampton flags are actually stopping the ball finding its way down to him, but he's got it in the end, and we'll be back underway shortly. 85th minute we are in, and Carlisle United still lead by 3-2, but the margin looks ever so slender now.
Well, obviously it is, yeah. And Southampton will keep pushing and I'm sure chances will come again.
Chamberlain almost away from Chester there, but he got some form of touch on it, and it's a throw into the Saints, right hand side of the Carlisle penalty area. Nervy times for you, the Carlisle fans. Chamberlain's now gone down to the right of the area with a head injury, so the ref must stop play. The linesman surely needs to flag him, and in the end I think Grella's going to poke it out for a throw in. I think Chamberlain is claiming he caught an arm off James Chester there. Chester doesn't look interested in it.
No, well,
Chamberlain doesn't look like he's hurt at all now after rolling around. He's got back up to his feet to have a bit to say at Chester, and he'll get booed now by the home support because they will now say that he was play acting, and you can't really argue with that standpoint from the Carlisle fans because he looks absolutely fine now, just a little bit angry.
Yeah, well, Southampton, fair play to them then. They threw it back over the goal line, which obviously wastes a few more seconds for them. Adam Collins, I mean, they'd have been perfectly within the rights just to throw that to Peter Murphy and say play on. But, you know, this is another 30 seconds, so they're helping us out a bit, really.
Just a little. Time ticking away for them, but still plenty of it left. It's funny how relative things are in a situation like this. Probably seems like no time at all to the Saints fans, but to Carlisle fans it's like an age, as Barrett looks to slide in Curran over the top. It's not a great ball. He put a lot of backspin on it, and it stayed in play actually, and Curran should have chased more, and he might have got there. He gave up on it, but the ball looked heavy, but Barrett had very carefully put the backspin on it, and maybe Curran should have not given up the ghost so easily. Yeah, definitely. There loads of backspin on, wasn't there? And it was strange because Curran still went all the way to try and close that out. Murphy with a stooping header, and he's taken a knock there, and the ref will have to stop play here for the head injury. But there's nothing wrong with the Southampton man there. He stooped in and headed to height where it was there for the kicking, and the referee making that point. He'll bring the ball back, and Carlisle will presumably have to smash it back up towards Kelvin Davis' goal. I think that's the gentlemanly thing to do. The referee will... He'll just roll it back to the keeper or something. What is he doing? I'm really not sure. He's gone to halfway. He's saying it's a bounce up. Just roll it back to the keeper, yeah. Wigan have beaten West Brom by 1-0, and Looks like Berrett is going to give it back to the goalkeeper. Victor Moses with the goal. And West Ham 0, Blackpool 0, full time as well. Tangerines getting a point there at West Ham. No mean feat for them there. What a season they're having under Ian Holloway. Who says it? I think, did he say he'll resign if he gets fined, or he says he'll do something anyway? Yeah. Some character, isn't he? I saw an interview with him earlier in the season saying he was going to stop all of the over-the-top stuff. Didn't take him long to forget that promise. Right-hand side now with Richardson for Southampton, up towards the edge of the penalty area. Southampton have men in there, nodded down, almost breaks to Barnard, getting in the way. The Carlisle defenders just about get it clear. Almost an argument that Murphy had fouled him there, but I think he probably just stayed within the realms of the law, because he was trying to protect the ball. You don't have to step out of a player's way, do you, Jeff? But he was certainly on the borderline of holding his man up in there. Southampton take it again. Left hand side, 88th minute. Forwards come the Saints down the left hand side. Lallana on the ball now. Plenty of skill in his blue boots. Looking for an option, comes square to Chamberlain. Little back heel, picks out Richardson. Down the right hand side they go now. On the ball, Lambert for Southampton, looking to play in Chamberlain, and Matthew Robson gets in a clearance up. And Carlisle feel they should have had the throw in there off Chamberlain, but the linesman closest to the action says no, and Greg Abbott not too happy with that decision, but won't argue too much. And the home fans really respond here and getting behind the team who need them. 89th minute we're in now on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport. United leading 3-2, but Southampton will throw everything at it in these final stages, and Marshall has brought a throw in off the Saints defender Dixon as he looks to take it past him. Well done, Ben Marshall. He's had another good game, Thorpe.
Yeah, he's worked hard up and down there. I'm sure he hasn't had the ball, in his favourite position as many times as he'd have liked this second half. But he's worked really hard. He's defended really well today, in fact, hasn't he? And getting back to help out with Lallana up that side, who's very tricky. And he's been a nuisance when he's got on the ball.
Barrow have won 2-0 against AFC Wimbledon. Their second victory over high-flying opposition in Blue Square Premier on consecutive Saturdays. Good tackle from Berrett, takes the ball away from Southampton. Chester sends it down the line, gives Matty Robson something to chase. He might just get there. What acceleration that is from Robson. And then when getting there, he's completely miscontrolled it out of play. He's probably shattered from chasing that ball, in truth.
No, he shouldn't have been. He did well to get there, but I don't know what he was trying in the end, wasn't he? I think he just took his eye off it for a second and it was over the goal line. So.
Tottenham have beaten Blackburn 4-2. 90th minute on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport. The fourth official's calling the referee over here for something that's been said. Bolton have won 3-2 at Wolves. Something's been said here. Who's going to be spoken to? The assistant manager of Southampton said too much. Not sure. The fourth official's going to have a word with the referee now. He's being told, is he being sent to the stands or is he being told to sit down? The referee's pulled him over for a quiet word. Let's see what the gesticulation is. Workington have been beaten 1-0 at Corby. Nearly said Great Corby there. Not quite. Kendal Town have lost 4-3 at Hucknall. A good comeback from Kendal, but not enough in the end. They have been beaten. Likewise Workington, but Barrow have won. More details on all of those games to come shortly on BBC Radio Cumbria. Not long to go here. We're into time added on, but there's been a bit of a stoppage there because of the rather mischievous assistant manager of Southampton. The board goes up. 5 minutes of time to be added on. That seems a little bit heavy from the referee. 5 minutes time added on and we're into them, and Carlisle looking to come forwards, but Davis will gather. The Saints goalkeeper lays it to the turf and bombs it forwards. United have to repel 5 more minutes of Southampton attack. They start with a Michalik header forwards. I think Curran was offside there, but linesman didn't spot that, and it's back with the Southampton goalkeeper on the Michalik clearance. Jaidi picks it up. He'll have to crash it forwards. Over he goes to the left-hand side. Dixon sends it down the line. Lallana's done well. No, he hasn't. It's a throw into Carlisle. And every bit of time wasted here will count.
I'm trying to think where the 5 minutes has come from myself. How many have we had? 5 subs?
We've had 3 goals, so that's a minute 30. In terms of subs, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's another 2 minutes.
Yeah, so possibly then.
And then a bit of a to-do there with the...
we've had 2 or 3 players down.
Yeah, maybe just about, but crikey me, it seems a bit harsh on Carlisle.
Yeah, actually, when you look at it, he's probably not far off.
They've conceded 2 goals in 92 minutes. Let's see if they can try and hold out and not concede another in the final few of this game. Newcastle 0, Fulham 0, another full time in the Premier League. Richardson, right hand side for Southampton, advanced position, Southampton throwing everything at it now. There'll be gaps for Carlisle to exploit, but first they must defend us. Curran looks to close down Hammond. Jaidi gets it over to the left hand side, and again the Saints come forward here. Marshall looking to hold his man up. That man Hammond on the ball. Close him down is the call, because it might just break to the man on the far side. No, it's a goal kick to Carlisle, thank heavens for that. Yeah, don't let Hammond stride forwards on his own. Do not let him come forwards, because we've already seen what he can do with a drive from range, beating Adam Collin. with either a deflection or just a very well struck hit.
Yeah.
3-2 United continue to lead. Sorry, Thorpe.
Yeah, no, Hammond, you're right. He's getting on the ball. They had a little bit of space to run into, but the ball he played down the wing. I mean, the fullback, Southampton fullback, actually got there, and then what? He just didn't do anything with it, did he? I mean, at least then you'd try to backheel it, keep it in play, knock it off the opposition. But he didn't do anything with it. Went over the goal line, and Adam Collins just taking the goal kick.
Into the 3rd minute of time added on here at Brunton Park. Carlisle 3, Southampton 2. More scores coming in on BBC Radio Cumbria Sports. Penrith have lost 3-0 at Sunderland RCA in Northern League Division 1. Guildford Park have won 2-1 at Hebburn, and we'll get you the other late. Whitehaven have lost 2-1 at Gisborough. Another score. You're up to date on BBC Radio Cumbria. More flesh on the bone of all of our matches at full time here at Brunton Park. But it's the live action all the way now. Almost into the 94th minute here. And Carlisle leading Southampton by 3-2. Not much longer for them to hold on now, and they've had a throw in the Southampton half, left hand side, chested down the line, flicked on Curran. It'll be a goal kick to the Saints. Dear me, these minutes are crawling past, Thorpe, crawling past.
Yeah, well, they're doing a reasonable job. Southampton haven't come close for a good few minutes. They haven't been able to get the ball in dangerous positions, and Carlisle have been doing a decent job of getting some clearances on them.
Michalik wins a header over Jaidi. That's no mean feat. That shows how important Michalik is in the complexion of this game. In the right back position, Richardson almost caught there by Curran. He's forced him back inside, and he'll have to go back towards his own goal. He's playing himself into trouble. He's done very well in the end. Good composure by Fraser Richardson, an experienced campaigner, no doubt about it, and a good player too. And Southampton look to come forward. Jaidi's gone up into a striking position. Simic has to bomb back because he's almost caught by his man there, and he is caught by Barnard, and Barnard wins possession back here. Left-hand side of the penalty area for Southampton. Chaplow's touch is loose. Does it go out to play? Yes, it does. The linesman's flag goes up belatedly. He gets his cross into the middle, and the Carlisle players all let it over their heads in the penalty area. And it's all the way on the far side of the pitch, and that is helping the clock tick on into the 95th minute now. We're into it. 60 seconds plus the referee's discretion to go here at Brunton Park. United on the edge, on the brink, but not home yet. The fans responding. They're behind the team. Can the team do it on the pitch? What a performance it's been. Just 60 seconds or so to hang on. Down the line comes a throw-in, flicked on by Curran. Now it's a throw to Southampton.
I think the referee's given a free kick.
Might have given a free kick on halfway left-hand side, so everyone backs away. It'll be smashed up towards the edge of the penalty area. Going forwards is Fonte. Jaidi's already up there. Nervous, anxious, tense final moments for Carlisle United and their fans here. Southampton with maybe the final foray forwards, up to the edge of the area. Colin comes a long way and gathers, and it's arguably the biggest cheer of the day. The man in Coral Crush has maybe just crushed hopes of a Southampton comeback. Seconds remaining here at Brunton Park. 3-2 United lead, up towards Marshall, can't quite gather. Taiwo battling for it. Southampton smash it forwards again. A hopeful ball forwards. Michalik underneath. Jaidi wins the header. Michalik turns it away again. Smashed forwards, and it's full time. And it's one small step on the way to revenge for that day at Wembley last season when United were beaten 4-1 by Southampton. They came to Brunton Park today, the favourites. They've left beaten. Carlisle 3, Southampton 2. Marshall and Chester with the United goals, either side of a Harding own goal. Chamberlain and Hammonds with goals that made it tense toward the end. It's been a fine game of football, but Carlisle United have won and are moving up into 4th place in League One. Southampton dropping all the way down to 10th. It's still concertinaed. Don't get too excited just yet, but I tell you what, go out and celebrate this one however you fancy. A great day to be a Carlisle United fan.
Certainly is, didn't it? And they've hung on relatively comfortable in the end. I expected a lot more from Southampton in that last 5 minutes of injury time, but Carlisle did a good job of keeping them at bay. Not Carlisle's finest performance. They didn't play much football, they didn't create many chances, but they took the ones that came along, and that's what counts. And they'll play a lot better than this, and they won't get anything from a game. So that's the way football goes. They've battled hard, they've defended well for most part. They've had to rely on a bit of luck, but they've got the 3 points, and that's what counts.
Listen to this noise. Wonderful at Brunton Park. The players coming off to the final ovations here. Marshall's been superb. Barrett, excellent game. Michalik, a colossus at the back. Simek, fantastic. Zoko worked hard. Dweller kept going. Will that be the last time we see him at Brunton Park for United? Final applause from him. Final boos as ever for the referee as he leaves. I don't know why the officials always get such flack, but what a day to celebrate. Let's forget about the way it panned out and played out. What a statement it is for Carlisle United. I was talking to Greg about this in the press conference on Thursday, Thorpe, and I said what a statement it would make if you could beat a side like Southampton, and he said, well, we've already made our statements, but there's no doubt about this. People will look at this result and they will take notice of Carlisle.
Yeah, they will do, and whenever you take a scalp, the people do think, crikey, that's a good result. Southampton have been going well, and it's a good 3 points to get. But again, it's only 3 points, and that's all it is. We haven't got to get too carried away. But what we've done is over this last 2 weeks is arrested that blip that we went on where we'd struggled for 5 or 6 games, hadn't played well, and we've kind of battled our way through it. There's been a couple of good performances in there, a couple of indifferent, but we've still managed to win, and that's the key thing. You've got to win when you're not playing particularly well, and I don't think we played well today in terms of attacking football and getting the ball down, but we were up against a very good team who had the large parts of possession, had the best of the chances in the game, and we had to rely on them a little bit of luck, but you kept going. The lads played well. In terms of rolling their sleeves up, getting stuck in, working hard for each other, and they got the result in the end.
Marshall and Chester with the goals for Carlisle and an own goal then. Southampton came to Brunton Park top of the form table with 15 points out of 18 and looking for a 4th successive win, but they were weighed, they were measured, and they were found wanting. Carlisle 3, Southampton 2. Greg, what do you feel like after that fine performance and result for your team?
I'm drained, James, to be honest. I'm sort of a lot of things right now. That's a good group of players out there we've got, and I think we're getting a top group of fans as well. They've maybe seen us over the line today, James. We needed the encouragement. They're a strong side, Southampton. They're a good side, and I think we've matched them in a lot of areas. We still think we can be better. We still think we can improve, but we're being a bit picky. I suppose I should heap more plaudits on the players really right now. I think that's what everybody wants to hear. They deserve it, and as a group of players, for sheer honesty and hard work, I think in the end they deserve to just get over the line with a win. You're
on a run now of 4 consecutive wins here, and a great run of form in terms of being unbeaten for quite a while now, Greg, but more so than some of the other matches you've won. This is a really big victory for Carlisle United.
We tried to talk about their strengths and their squad and the players they've got, and we did it Thursday, James, because I wanted to remind our players nearer to Saturday how much ability we've got within our camp, so we told them Thursday, reminded them again Friday, but from sort of Friday onwards we started talking about us and how we can play, and if we get our game together, and I thought we played in spells some really good stuff. We came under pressure, but you look at the size and the power and the strength of their team, and did we wilt at any point? And I don't think we did wilt, James. We did come under pressure, but I think we defended it manfully. We've got goals at good times, never come at bad times, but we've really earned a result today, and I think everybody at this football club, certainly the fans should know how hard everybody works, from not me and the staff, I'm on about the players and the backroom people and the board and all that, and it's come under a lot of criticism over the last 2-3 years, whatever, for certain things, but I think sometimes it'd be nice if everybody turned around and says, well, that group of people down there from top to bottom is starting to do something right, or not starting to do something right, but they're doing things right and they're getting some sort of rewards, and we need it to continue. We know there's a massive load of hard work ahead of us, but I think we are doing the right sort of stuff, James.
Where were the key battles for you today? What do you think it was that you did right against a team that you have to beat, like Southampton? You must get a lot of things right to beat someone like that.
Yeah, I thought Lubo was magnificent at the back. I thought James Chester's done a fantastic job. We talked about the left back situation. Young Tom Cruise is relatively inexperienced, and this is the real McCoy at third tier of football. And I just thought James had the experience in that now, so I thought he was tremendous at left back, and. We just had big players all over, and Ben Marshall going forward, and Gary and Francois and Mike's. But Mike's worked harder than he's ever worked in his life, I think, and Frankie as well. But listen, I'm going through the whole team, aren't I? Listen, I'm going through the whole team. I'm just delighted with everybody, so I've started to single them out one by one, and let's put praise on the whole lot of them.
Let's single you out one by one then. You caught us all out with James Chester, a right-footed centre-half playing left-back. When did you come up with that one then?
Wednesday.
Nobody would have predicted that, Greg.
No, I know that, but I work with the players every day, and that's where the trust has to come in from everybody outside the club to me and my staff, doing the job. But I rang Cav on Wednesday, who's not been around the training ground, and I rang Dennis, who again has been out watching, and I said, listen, I'm thinking of James Chester. left back. I think he's got the pace, he's got the 1v1 abilities, he's a comfortable footballer. What do you think? And there was a few, even the two mates, they were a bit, anyway, we did it. Between us, we decided, when we thought about it long and hard, it was probably a good choice, for a short-term period, and buys us a bit of time to get Tom, wrapped up in this the pace and the intensity of this sort of football. And I thought James did a terrific job. A
bit of overdue good fortune with the way that you got your second goal to make it 2-0, the Harding own goal. However, had he not got the touch, you'd have expected Marshall to finish anyway.
Yeah, I think I'm agreeing. I think Mike's cross was a really, really hard one to defend. It's loads of pace. He's running back to his own goal. I think Ben was in a great position at the far post as well. So, I thought we got the first goal actually slightly against the run of play. When Ben scored his goal, and I didn't think we started the game particularly well, but it gave us that belief, and that's the importance of goals. And fantastic strike, but Marshy, who's just caught fire for us just at the minute.
United, of course, now Greg, fourth in the table. You go to bottom of the table, Walsall, away at next weekend. 7 days to prepare. How do you guard against the old after the Lord Mayor's show performance down there?
Well, you don't, do you? We should go there and win, shouldn't we? That's what everybody'd be saying. But that will be tougher, or as tough as it is today, because Walsall are fighting for their lives right now. So make no mistakes, there'll be a massive game next week, and we've got to try and make sure our players are prepared and their head is right to go and do a different type of performance under different circumstances. And if we are right, then we think we're capable of getting something. If we're not, we'll get our backsides tanned again.
Any injuries coming out of today's game that you know about?
Me and Cav are mentally deluded, I think, and that's about it.
Some fans, I'm sure, would agree. What about Mike Grella's loan? He did play ever so well again today. How close are we to knowing whether that's going to be extended? Hopefully
something will happen early Monday or Tuesday, and we'll be able to tell everybody. But we'd like to keep him. I think he'd like to stay. It's just a matter if the two clubs can agree on something. But we're in the process of trying to negotiate something, and Monday will be a decision day for us.
BBC Radio Cumbria Sport.